pairings
So,
for who's reading lists?
I don't know. We'll wing it.
Okay.
We're live, by the way.
Cool.
All right, cool.
just in time. Just in case.
Our first guest. Well, there's like a 5-second delay on the video.
Yeah,
Right.
So for you guys, mute your video.
Yeah, pause it or mute it or whatever. Whatever.
Hey, I'm here,
There you are.
Awesome.
and it works. It could be.
So we
So in
took down
terms of
some hill giants today.
nice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah, you know what's really amazing for killing hill giants? You cast slow, so they can't move fast. They can only attack once, and they have -2 to their AC. And then you have your friend, who's a druid, summon 8 wolves to attack said hill giant, because the wolves statistically should hit every single time because they have advantage of an allies within 5 feet, and the hill giant with -2 AC has like AC nothing. And so the wolves on average do about 56 damage a round, and the giant, because it's slowed, can only kill 1 wolf a turn. My DM was not happy. He was like, so I switched up the tactics to try to handle your guys spamming debuffs, and you just, threw out a bunch of chaff that just kills everything. I'm like, yep.
In our game, we just fought some hill giants too. Actually, we went after like the king of the hill giants, and I just summoned a demon. And killed him
Nice.
like that.
We're trying.
That's
to
all
find
you
the
do
character.
now, right?
It's pretty like I win in every situation. You're
The
like,
first thing I
I'm
would
just
do
gonna
is have
summon a
that demon turn around and rip your head off, and then go do whatever stuff. The first thing I would do.
We're trying
The
to
demon
find.
comes
the
out
hill
and goes,
giant.
"Who summoned me?" Pop! Whoop! And that'd be the end of that.
Every
My
time I summon him,
characters-
he passes his first charisma check every time, and he does come after me.
My character is
behind-
broke.
I'd
'cause
roll
I'm
it behind a screen.
donating money. So it's been the rest of the party's making fun of me because like we ran into some like villagers whose village has been destroyed. So I was like, here's a bag of 90 gold because my character has no like concept of what things cost. So he gives way more money than is needed to like help people. So I'm like, here, this is worth triple the value of your village, But I'm like, this is about right, and now I have like 4 gold pieces to my name.
Sounds good.
All
So you have to eat.
So this is what I'm gonna do.
I have a family heirloom signet ring that gives me credit in every inn on the Sword Coast.
I'm gonna go ahead and read off the pairings. I'll read the pairings off, and then I'm gonna do a rotation here, and I'll have people go through the lists. So this will be Mike, Jake, Corey, Greg, and then me. So I'll just run through the rotation and tell you who's reading the lists.
Yeah.
And just go in order. So we'll run
Okay.
like that. That way we're organized a little bit at least.
So I always go after.
You will go after me actually, because
And I will go after Mike.
There it is.
Yeah. That's how that's how a list works. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how an order works. Good. You guys have mastered.
See,
Second
this is the
grade
worst
math.
part. He lays down the rules, and then when we say that's good, he makes fun of us. And then when you try to set other rules, he goes, "No, those rules suck. My rules are better." You're the worst. You're the worst.
All right. Well, Greg's
Is
not
anyone
here.
actually listening to this garbage or what?
Yeah, there's people listening.
Oh my god!
We've got
why?
7 people watching.
Oh my!
This
8
is
viewers. Oh gosh. Okay.
Now 4 of
They're
them
just
are us.
enjoying it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, actually, who was in the?
Greg is messaging. Just he's trying. He's trying to get in.
Well, I'll cut him a slack for 5 minutes while some more people connect, maybe. But Greg, this is why we were supposed to get on at 6:30 to figure this shit out.
Yeah, sorry
So
guys. I
the
kicked
worst.
my D&D group out at 6:25, but it took them 10 minutes to walk out.
Yeah, well, Jake, your shit worked, so it's less of a big deal.
Well,
I'm not mad at you.
I've done like 5 of these in the last 3 months, so
Yeah, nobody cares about my opinion. I still give it, but no one asked for it.
my D&D group, this is the second time I've had to either cancel D&D or end it like early-ish. And each time it's because of these videos, and my group is like, oh, you're just a cam girl now, right? Like, that's why you have all these web shows that you need to do.
I like it.
This is how I got my King's War trophy. Do you like it? That's the whole show.
I just so many jokes.
It's so erotic, right?
A screenshot,
Dude.
and I don't even know what it means.
Let's see. Stuck on this screen, it won't work.
Are only 4 people allowed?
Mm,
Did he not agree to the terms and conditions?
I don't think there's a limit.
There's a limit of 10 for Google Hangout, but
Yeah, it's not 4. That's for sure. You're about to join a Hangouts on Air. I think he's just having trouble joining. He's got a reboot or something.
We'll see. Reboot. Have you tried turning the machine on and off?
Oh, you're a born IT guy, Mike.
There it is. You go through the chart. Starts at number 1. Is your computer on and running?
Is there? I wonder if there's a better way to see the chat.
John, I like the Barbie dollhouse in the background. It's
Thank
very
you,
hobby
thank
room.
you. It is. This is the playroom, so it is what it is.
It's all good, man. I'm just
Where
messing
they
with you.
play?
We're playing.
It is what it is.
There's playing happening. Play.
That's what I call my list, an attempt at playing.
I feel like I'm not seeing the chat in real time here.
I'm certainly not. My view right
Which-
now is just us.
Which chat? Are you talking about the YouTube chat, or are you talking about the...
The YouTube chat. So I'm a little bit. Let's see if I can get this.
So the video is going to be slightly delayed.
No, I know it is, but I remember seeing in the past a separate chat window.
Yeah, the chat's on the right side of the video.
That's just for us, isn't it?
Not in YouTube.
So Bart just put the most recent response in there. Yeah.
Bart did. I don't. Where are you seeing this, Jake? I don't.
Go onto the YouTube page,
Yeah.
and it's directly to the right of the video. You see that?
No, I don't see it, but it's because I paused the video. I think.
Yeah, you have to.
I've got mine paused, John. It's working fine for me. I can see Bart and Jake's response. So.
Okay, I see it now. So I just had to reconnect. I must have gotten screwed up or something.
Okay. Whereas the chat in the Google Hangouts is what only us can see.
That's for us,
Right.
yeah. All right. We'll let Greg reboot, and then we're gonna go.
Yep, sounds good to me. This is nice. Every other video I've done, we do it on Central Time. So like we agree to a time, and then it's an hour. No, well, it's like an hour later. So like
Right.
they're chatting and stuff. I'm like, let's get this going. It's 9:30 here.
Right.
All right, Greg's having trouble connecting, so we're gonna get going. And
He can always jump in.
if he gets in, he'll jump in. We'll put him in the rotation. So all right.
Right.
So we're gonna go here. This is the 2018 Unplugged GT. This is our 6th annual GT, 7th if you count Harvest of Souls. But for the main event,
Yeah.
we've got 36 players this year. We're holding it at the Portal in Manchester, Connecticut. It's next weekend, April 5th. So we're about a week out. And it looks to be a good group of player here. Army breakdown wise, we're looking at a lot of dwarves and forces of nature. Dwarves and forces of the nature make up.
I'm surprised Undead dips so much. Normally they make a significant chunk.
Yeah,
They've seen your success, Jake.
I mean,
Probably.
Yeah,
Ellie, come here.
that must be it. Nobody can match Jake, so they're just gonna bow out of undead.
Or they saw how badly I did and said, well, we can't, it's not worth trying.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get going here. First couple of tables are grudges. So these are known, but we'll talk about their lists a little bit. So the format will be one person will read the first list, one person will read the second list. Then we'll discuss a little bit about predictions. Table 1, this is Jake Hutton versus the Great Khan. So Mike, you got Khan's list. What does he got?
I do. He has a Goblin gun line is what he has.
Yes, he does.
2 regiments of Goblin Rabble, 4 regiments of Goblin Spitters, a horde of Goblin Spitters with the Heart-Seeking chant, 4 regiments of Fleabag Rider Sniffs. They have bows. 3 big rocks throwers. He's got Grogger's Great Lobber, and he's got a bigot on a flea bag, and he's got a bigot on a flea bag. And that's what he's got.
He's got three bigots on
three
Oh my
bigots
God.
on
He's got
Fleabag.
3 bigots.
And three war trombones, too.
Yep.
Did I miss those? Oh, that makes me sad. Yeah, he's got 3 war trombones, too.
I was like, maybe I'm seeing the wrong list. But
No, woof. That's a lot of stuff.
A lot of shooting.
All right, and he's going to be up against Jake.
I thought I was going to the northeast, not the southeast.
No, so clearly.
Nice.
Right.
Jake, you're up next on the roster. Give us your list. What are you bringing?
All right, let me pull it up because
he's not bringing enough.
I'm
Yeah,
bringing
seriously.
Abyssal Dwarves. I've got a regiment of Decimators, a horde of Slave Orcs, 2 troops of Gargoyles, a horde of Lesser Obsidian Golems, 2 regiments of Half-Breeds, a horde of the Abyssal Grotesque, a Dragon Fire team, 2 of the Rocket Launchers, a Slave Driver with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, an Abyssal Half-Breed Champion with the Blade of Slashing, and Basusu the Vile.
Basusu, solid choice.
This is going to do some work.
I'm a little unsure about the choice to take the Decimators in a regiment. I don't see that very often. Usually,
you need it for the unlocks. There's a lot in there that is irregular. I mean, the Slave Orcs aren't unlocking anything. The troops aren't. And to get Basusu and the Half-Breed Champion in the list, I needed a couple unlocks for like the Slave Driver and the War Machines, which is why they're there.
Yep, I gotcha.
I agree. I'd rather have them. I think 2 regiments of them is very good, actually.
Yeah, I like being able to split the shots.
Right. Well, and then you can't lock them down as easy because a
Right.
horde, you ping them with an individual and you paid like 200 some points to not shoot.
Right.
I think this is gonna be a tough one for you, Jake.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's a lot to mow through.
Buddy,
Now-
it's so much
And
nerve.
you've got a couple of units that are tough for him to get. The
Most
Obsidian
of my
Golems.
army regens too, which
And
means
they're
that if he tries
grotesque.
to plink off wounds, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, but his army
This is
has
a lot
so
of shooting.
much.
It's a lot. It's right.
Yeah, it can really delete something. So.
Oh, yeah.
The
He's going
rocket
to point
launchers
at
are
something
going-
and remove it.
Yep.
Assuming that he can concentrate fire. I think that's the biggie.
So I
Well,
played a
and-
practice game with him a couple weeks ago, and even with the 4 rock lobbers, it was hard to get a lot of damage out of those.
Mhm.
Even with clear shots, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I mean the rocket launchers are going to be able to target and remove probably the war machines fairly fast, hopefully. Because Goblin leadership isn't great. There's not a lot in there that is probably going to be inspiring the rocket launchers. So that's one.
Don't give
I
away your
have.
battle plan, Jake.
The individuals are going to be money.
Let us give it away.
Right.
But I agree. This is not a great matchup.
I don't think so. The thing that you have going for you is or the thing you have against you, and it's not even the shooting. I think it's just there's a boatload of nerve on the table.
It's nerve all over the place. It's bad for scenarios too.
Right. I mean, he's got his leadership is pretty mobile,
So yeah,
which
the
I think
nerve
he's
I'm
not
not
dope.
as worried about because the half breeds and the grotesques do work. But the problem is that's only
get
3
there.
units.
They got to get there.
They're
Well,
going
you
to
need-
get there. They're
Jake's
gonna
going to need to get a lot of work out of Basusu and his
Yes.
half-breed champion.
Yeah,
those
lock
two,
it
those
down.
two are going to have to lock some stuff down,
Right.
which is good because he doesn't really have anything to counter those 2 guys other than the war
Right.
trombones. So
He really doesn't.
Although war trombones do a number on him.
yep.
You got to be careful. He can
If
create
they
a
can
real-
all 3 get to there, yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a tough one for you, Jake. And we're only talking about Khan in the third person here because Jake's with us.
I'm right here.
Right.
No, he brought a solid list. It's pretty scary. A lot of drops.
I don't want to play it.
Depending on the scenario, it's going to be even more of an uphill battle. Something like this, I'd probably hope for push. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
you're gonna hug terrain too. So
Right.
I mean,
So I think this one's unanimous though, as we're giving it to Khan.
Well, I'm going to vote for myself, man. I'm not voting against myself.
I don't trust your vote. just to be clear, right?
You can vote
See,
against me. I'm not voting
No, it's a
against
little bit of
myself,
bias.
man.
Is everybody keeping track of our predictions here? Are we going to see who does the best, or
You are obviously.
am I doing that?
Yeah.
So Jake votes for himself.
Obviously,
Yes.
you got to vote
Obviously.
for yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wait
All
till
right.
my matchup.
So let's move to table 2 here.
nice.
Table 2 is another grudge. This one's going to be Noah Nathanson versus the master Alex Chavez.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a doozy. So Corey, why don't you go ahead and take Alex's list?
All right.
I've
So
got Noah's
Yeah, you've got Noah's. So I've got Alex's Abyssal list. And so he is starting with a troop of gargoyles, a horde of lower abyssals, and they have the Crushing Strength 1 for lower defense, 2 regiments of succubi, 1 horde of Molochs, 2 regiments of tortured souls, an Efreet, an Abyssal Temptress with the wings, a Well of Souls, and an Archfiend of the Abyss with wings and Brew of Haste.
And
Boy, I like that.
I guess I'm up on the next one, huh?
Nope, I've got Noah's.
No, you just
You're going out of order.
We're going in order here.
Because
Oh, I read
Greg's
mine.
on now.
I didn't think
Boom!
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I would like to say that my technical issues were not technical issues. John sent a link to a video that no one was in. So I was trying to connect to an empty video for 20 minutes.
I sent the link right through this video, so wrong.
I love that.
I don't know what to tell
Accurate.
you. I hit invite and I said invite Greg Person. And
That's the other one that
that's where it
says
came
Jake's
from.
sexy time video, and that's not the one you wanted to send. Right?
That one's never empty, though. There are always people.
Yeah,
on
there's
that
always
video.
people.
All right, so Greg, you're up to get the next army list here. We're talking about Alex versus Noah, and why don't you tackle Noah's list?
All right, fine. Just tell me real quick, who did we vote for in the first matchup?
All right, so the first matchup is the Great Khan versus Jake, and most of us went for the Great Khan, except for
I voted for myself.
Okay, fair enough.
Highly
All right.
recommended by owner.
So Noah's army. This may be a surprise to some people because Noah is bringing a new army that I think was kind of a secret project. So you guys will definitely look forward to seeing it. He's got ogres. So here's his list. Regiment of ogre warriors. Horde of ogre warriors exchanging shields for two-handed weapons with Makwar's Potion of the Caterpillar.
Good.
A second horde of ogre warriors with the Helm of Confidence. And a third horde of ogre warriors with no artifacts. So it's 3 hordes. The one with Caterpillar has the Crushing 2. All the other ones, including the regiment, are just Crushing 1 with the extra defense 5. He's got 2 hordes of boomers, one with Blessing the Gods, one with Chant of Hate, an army standard with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, a boomer sergeant with the Inspiring Talisman. My favorite part of the list, a red goblin bigot mounted on a flea bag with the crystal pendant of retribution, Grockamagok, and 2 red goblin blasters, rounding out for 2,000 points. Did anyone else, when you were just reading Alex's list, note that his list is 1995 and he was just
Yes, for the love of God, put a Wheeling Brew on something.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
That's
So there's a story behind
Dead
Alex's
weight.
list, though.
Yeah. Dead
There's
weight.
a reason. There's a reason for this.
Yes.
This is a list that he had apparently recommended somebody else bring to a GT,
So
and they brought it to a GT and did terrible. And he was like, I can do better with that list.
he lent this army to my buddy who doesn't play Kings of War but wanted to go to Mountaineer last year. And I said, Alex, you guys are lending the army. Do you mind just writing him a list? And Alex wrote the list, assuming I'd fill in the 5 points, I guess, or just forgetting, and for giving him crap the whole time. So the last tournament he took it to at Vanguard, he did the same thing, 5 points short. So he's doing it this one too.
It's kind of like a bet, yeah.
Oh, principle. Love it.
Every time the Molochs lose their Merv check by 1 or 2, you got to mark that down for the entire weekend.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Every time. That's it.
No, this Abyssal list is really good. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. It's got
He
hits
did just win Vanguard.
a lot of the
with it, too.
boxes. I don't like Molochs, but in general, it's got a lot of solid stuff in there.
I like Noah's Ogre list. The Red Goblin Blasters are fun, but I don't think they're going to do a lot. But the rest of the list, I think, is fairly solid too, though.
Well, Alex's
think
only
the
2
blasters-
shooting things here are the Efreet and the Lightning on the Archfiend, so he
Yeah,
doesn't have a
I-
ton to stop them.
Right. I actually
No.
think the blasters could get into something in this game.
True.
Yeah,
I agree with
He
you.
didn't take Lightning Bolt on the Archfiends.
Oh, he didn't. So it's just the Efreet. So
yeah.
it's pretty easy to mitigate.
Huh. Well,
Yeah.
Boy, that's
So
tough.
So he's got the 2 blasters and the bigot with the crystal pendant, hoping to
So
get some
Open to roll big on those 2d6s.
Yeah.
I got to vote for Alex on this one, only because he won the Masters and then 2 months later took this list and 1 Vanguard, and I think he's bringing the heat again. So I'm going to vote for Alex.
I would go for
Yeah, I
Alex
am
on it
too.
too because I like the list. It's very similar to the kind of the Abyssal stuff I've been playing.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like Alex's list a lot. I think it's good.
It's
as
about
well.
70 shots short. But yeah, I agree with you, Corey. I think that Alex's list is Alex. I think is better. Just you always go with the master, right? But
That's
that being
right.
said, I really like Noah's list.
I do
That
too.
is a cool list to run,
Mhm.
right?
It
There's
has a
some
lot of
elements in
breadth
it I
in
really
it.
like. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. Right? It's much better than the list we came up with.
Based purely on principle, I have to vote with Noah. And if you come to the GT, when you see his army in person, you'll know why.
I like it.
Fair enough.
Can't
Fair
wait.
enough.
Yeah.
I like it. Wait, we didn't put any stakes on the decisions tonight. I believe last time
dude.
there was like a 2-2 or something. We'll have to think about this.
A 2-2.
Oh, I don't know. It was Greg.
Never.
Greg brought that model to that
Right.
stupid gorilla.
Yeah, the gorilla demon that you later summoned in D&D.
That's his answer to everything. We've been over that already.
That's right. Brought the
Crazy.
Lady of the Lake. Okay. Good.
He brings that up after I'm the one idiot voting for Noah.
By the way, there's stakes
Put a
here.
wager on it.
Wah, wah.
All right. Moving on to table 3, another grudge. This one involves our own Greg Person versus Josh Rosado. So I'll go ahead and take Greg's list, actually. I'm up next here. So Greg's running Night Stalkers. He's our only Night Stalker player.
Yes.
He's got 3 regiments of Spirit Hosts, with one with the piercing arrow. This is the same
Those are
thing.
Specters.
Specters.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
right,
says
sorry.
Spirit
It
Host.
says
That's
Spirit
a
Host on
description of the models I'm using.
Right.
Regiment of Phantoms, 3 regiments of Nightmares, a Mind Screech, a Shade with the Blade of Slashing, a Banshee with Lightning Bolt and the Fenulian Amulet, a Void Lurker with a Brew of Haste. And that rounds out to 2,000 points. Those points go quick.
Yes.
And Mike, why don't you go ahead and take Josh's list?
Sure. Josh is taking Forces of Nature. He has a horde of Naiad Ensnarers with the Fog. He has a horde of Salamanders with the Brew of Strength, as you do. He has 3 regiments of Centaur Bray Striders. He has a Centaur Chief with a bow and fire oil, and another Centaur Chief with a bow. He has a Druid with Banechant 2 and Shroud of the Saint. He has a Winged Unicorn with Lightning Bolt 5. He has a Beast of Nature with Lightning Bolt 6, Fly and Speed 10, and Vicious and Attack 7, as you do. And he's got another one just like it, so because they come in pairs. And that's his list. Because once again, the points don't go very far.
Right.
Right. So, what do you think? I mean, it's I love Josh's list because he's all over the place.
Now,
His
Josh
movement is really good.
Greg and Josh, both good players. Josh won Harvest of Souls last year and
Both
did
have
really well
very
at
memorable
Masters.
lists.
Yeah.
Greg's put up. Greg was the #1 player in the Northeast, though.
Both lists are maneuverable, and both lists have a lot of shooting. Josh has a lot more nerve, so if it comes to something like...
Josh does not have a lot of shooting.
No, he
he
does
doesn't.
not.
He's got some shooting. You're right.
He's
right.
just got some lightning bolts and a couple of centaur chiefs, and
True.
that's not going to do a whole lot against Greg's army, I don't think.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
And the other thing here is that I really love Windblast 5 on the Nightmares. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Banshee. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's gonna be moving shit around.
Right. Causing weird stuff.
And the Bray. So, depending on the scenario, I think Josh really
that's
wants to
tough.
see something that is like dominate, invade, even push, because he can stack things on his hordes and say, Greg, kill this. Whereas Greg wants to be able to pick apart everything but the hordes, I think.
Yeah, I think any objective-based scenario, I think Greg's got an advantage there, just because he can push stuff around with the wind blast.
If it's push, he can block stuff from being wind blasted.
True.
Yep.
Right. Because you can't be Windblasted if you're holding a token.
hmm
I mean, it's pretty easy to block things from being wind blasted in general if
True.
if you're watching for it.
Right.
But anyway, I still think
Boy,
Greg's
this
got
is
the
tough.
advantage on
Yep.
this one.
I'm
I
going to
think
vote for
the
Greg.
yeah, I think the shooting is going to give him a pretty big advantage that Josh can't make up for.
And the stealth
Yeah.
means that the lightning bolt's going to be
Very
pretty
ineffective.
Yeah. And that Void Lurker's just going to do bad things this game, I think.
Yeah, looking at his list, is slightly different than what he's been playing.
Yeah.
It makes me happy to see the 3 regiments of Brace Riders because they don't scare my army.
No. No.
The one thing I don't really see myself killing the ensnarers unless the game goes really in my favor, and on like turn 5 or 6, I just like quadruple charge them.
Well, the thing about the ensnarers though is their defense 3, and they don't have stealthy. Oh, they have
stealthy.
The fog. I mean, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think they're going to be -2 because they're going to be in terrain. It's a great way to run them. Is how I plan to do it when I eventually build nature.
After 5 years, 10 years, maybe.
I'm working on it.
All right, so Mike, Jay, Corey, where are you going with here?
I'm voting Greg for all the reasons above, but I think this is going to be a fun match to watch. I think it's going to be tight. I don't think it's like a blowout. It's not like mine into Great Khans matchup.
I'm going to go with Josh. The more I look at this, I think that depending on the scenario, there are certain parts of his army that you're not going to be able to touch if he doesn't want you to.
You're forgetting that Greg is going to hit and wound every time when he rolls those nightmare damage.
I can't take that into account. I'm sorry. I play averages. Right?
That's your first mistake.
Yep.
Clearly.
I think I'm going to go Greg on this one.
Greg. All right. So Greg's the clear
overwhelming favorite here.
All right. Now you put the pressure on. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
Definitely looking forward to the game.
Continuing on with the grudges, we've got Chris LaBelle versus Chris Murphy, 2 of the Connecticut locals here. So Jake, why don't you give us LaBelle's list? LaBelle? Right. Is it I think it's LaBelle.
It's LaBelle? Okay. So this is the first dwarf list of the night.
First of many.
A regiment of berserkers, a horde of berserkers on foot. Just want to clarify that.
Wow.
A horde of
I endorsed it.
Right? You don't see them often. A horde of Iron Guard with the Hammer of Measured Force.
No, it's Ironclad.
Ironclad, sorry. Right. You can't hoard the Iron Guard.
Sadness.
2 regiments of Iron Guard that have given up their shields for crushing 1. A regiment of Rangers with the piercing arrow. 3 troops of sharpshooters. An organ gun. A Jaren Bombard. A battle stamp bearer with the banner of the Griffin. The Berserker Lord with the blade of the Beast Slayer, but it's on foot. King with wings of Honey Maze. King on Large Beast. And a Battle Driller. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a fair amount of units in there, right? He's only got big points invested in 1.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of nerve.
No,
right? A lot of units. Not a lot of nerve.
True.
Not a lot of nerve, right?
Right. I mean, it's funny because the regiment of berserkers has the highest nerve in the army at -22.
Right. Ironclad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Ironclad.
So a horde of Ironclad, but that's
But the berserkers being defense 3.
200 points. Right. 200 points.
Yeah.
The Iron Guard would have decent nerve too. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things with decent nerve, and 2
and
things.
Banner of the Griffin.
Yeah, 2 of those are very good nerve.
Yeah.
All right, Corey.
Standing.
Give us Murphy's list.
Here's the
All right. So I've got some undead here. We've got a horde of revenants with the giant rats for life leech 2 and a brew of strength. Always great. 2 troops of wraiths, 1 with the blade of slashing, 1 with mace of crushing, just for points. 3 regiments of zombies. A horde of whites with the brew of sharpness. Also great. Soul Reaver Cav, 1 regiment with the Potion of the Caterpillar. Revenant King on Undead Worm, flying, of course. Cursed Pharaoh with Wings of the Honey Maze. Leech King, mounted on a horse. And with Heal 6 and Shroud of the Saint.
For Heal 9.
This one checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah. That's a good list.
It's good.
That's basically what I've run almost.
Right.
A couple differences, but that's very good. I got
the real issue here is
got enough chaff.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal: is Chris is going to line up.
They're both named Chris, by the way.
Chris LaBelle is going to line up. He's going to line up his troops, and then there's like 1 or 2 too many threats for him to deal with in the time that he's going to have.
Yeah,
right.
And to come in and wreck him. Yep.
And that's the thing. It's like you can deal with the Revenant King on Undead Worm by itself. Sure. right? You can deal with the Soul Reaver Cavalry by itself,
Right.
sure, right? But when you include a horde of whites, right, and
Yeah,
even
then
the
you still-
Revenants,
yeah.
even the horde of Revenants, what's he
Yeah.
gonna do, right?
And the cursed Pharaoh flying. I mean, he's got
Yep.
so much.
Oh my
He's got a
God.
fast flank that's going to get there quick.
Murphy
Yep.
has
On
all
the
tools.
shooting, and then the remainder is just going to get there and grind it out.
And that's by the time Chris knows what he should have. By the time Chris LaBelle knows what he should have done, the game's gonna have been over.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna chime in here, and again, based on principle. Hey, Corey, just wandering through the back.
Yeah. No. He's been telling me what to say the whole time.
Just on principle, I do have to vote for Chris LaBelle. I did that. Those are my models that, and
I thought, yep.
wrote the list. I did give Chris Murphy advice and worked really hard to get him to include that Lich King with heal 9, which I think is going to be amazing. But
Yes.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
they played a practice game. Chris Murphy won the practice game, but Chris LaBelle, who's now maybe got 5 or 6 games under his belt since he's picked it back up. I think that practice game is going to give him the edge he needs to play better.
Hi, Corey.
And
Hi, friends.
don't underestimate the damage the sharpshooters,
He's got his Kings of War shirt on too.
especially when paired with an organ gun.
True.
Yeah, sharpshooters.
2 wounds.
Yeah,
Two
and then heal 9.
Stop playing averages.
It's 2
Because the
reliable
way
wounds.
averages work, Rossi, is that like some turns you roll really hot, some turns you run really cold.
I
So
completely
that
agree
turn
with
where it rolls really hot, that's all it takes.
that. As long as you only remember those turns, they're fantastic.
Well,
But the thing is, when you got that much heal, rolling average may as well be rolling low.
Normally, Greg,
I
I
agree
would
with you.
say those tools are, I think, very, very good. The problem is the undead list. The units that you want to shoot have high enough defense and nerve that they're going to be
Yeah.
tough to move. I mean, I think the Wraith troops are in some trouble if they're not moved correctly, for instance, because he can peel those off pretty easily. But then he still has the Cursed Pharaoh and the Rev King, which I don't.
If he's
Buddy.
shooting wraiths, good.
Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
You
he
can't,
is
shoot,
right.
you can't shoot everything is the problem. And if you concentrate on them, then something else is getting in and wrecking your day.
Wow.
The
We'll see
Bladed
where it
Beast
falls.
playing Berserker Lord, I think, is going to do work, even though he's on foot.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, is he on foot?
Murphy
I-
has to engage him.
Right.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
And it depends on what the scenario looks like. If LaBelle has to get out and move across the board, it hurts even more.
Totally true.
So it sounds like
I'm voting undead.
I'm voting undead.
Yeah, I
Okay.
am too.
all right.
I mean, I'm
Holding out for the dwarfs.
The votes are in. All right, table 5. We're getting away from grudges here, although there is one snuck later in the tables here. But table 5 is going to be Brian Ring versus our very own Mike Rossi.
Bum, 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 bum.
So Corey, why don't you take Brian's list?
All right, so Brian's bringing the forces of nature. We've got 2 hordes of salamanders, 1 with the brew of strength, 2 regiments of Bray Striders, 1 horde of the Sylph Talon Riders with the Heart-Seeking Chant. That's pretty good. A Centaur Chief, naked. A Druid with Bane Chant 2. Winged Unicorn with Lightning Bolt and Shroud of the Saint for heal 10.
Ugh.
Yeah. Pegasus.
It's rather good.
A naked Pegasus. And then 2 Beasts of Nature with all the goodies. Lightning Bolt, Fly, and Vicious, and attacks to 7.
They
So,
come out of the factory like that, right?
That's
There's only
right,
one
baby.
beast, and it looks
There's
like
only
that,
one way.
right?
That druid backing up those salamander regiments is brutal because they're tough enough to take. Their nerve is high enough to soak damage, and then in defense 5, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Oh,
Rough.
yeah.
all right. Greg, why don't you take Mike's list?
Gotcha. So, Mike Rossi bringing dwarfs. We tallying here? It's the second dwarfs. I think. The start of the list is going to sound very familiar to what we just read. Horde of Ironclad with the Hammer of Measures force. 2 regiments of Iron Guard with Crushing Strength 1 and Defense 5. One of them has a Blade of Slashing.
5 points.
Troop of Rangers.
Fill it out.
Horde of Earth Elementals with the Healing Brew. Organ Gun. Army Standard Bearer with the Diadem of Dragonkind. King with Wings of Honey Maze. Stone Priest with Drain Life 6, Inspiring Talisman. Greater Earth Elemental. And 2 steel behemoths.
Double, but just a lot of defense 6 in this list.
Yeah.
A lot.
So this is going to be very, very scenario dependent.
I'm going to chime in. This is not,
Well, you're just going to say I have no chance. I'm going to lose.
well, I think this is going to be tough for me only insofar as I played Brian a couple weeks ago at the primer, and he had the same list, and boy, I had a tough time. I mean, I got super lucky in the middle of the game. I rolled double 12 for a nerve check and removed one of those hordes, the horde of salamanders, and I was like super lucky, and he still beat me, right? And everything was kind of going my way, and I still lost. So it's tough. He moves a lot better than I do, and the Talon riders
with heart
staying back there,
that's
really
right?
That's legit.
That is legit. That was giving me fits the whole game, and I'm like, well, I got to go fly over there and fight those the beasts of nature, and I couldn't.
Yeah, well, that's
so they're flying around doing whatever they want. I got to
people laugh. People laugh at that unit like it's
no,
it's
no.
not good.
No, it's no joke. So
it's got a 34-inch threat range,
right?
so it's gonna hit you on 4s.
It can move without penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Pathfinder, so it could even fly into the woods and shoot.
It's kind of a pain in the butt.
That
And
said,
piercing,
though,
and that was one of the units that got attack increase from
got a little buff.
Yeah.
Clash of Kings, so 16 attacks is not bad.
Yeah, that unit's a
good.
pain in the balls for Mike. No joke.
It is, and the thing that makes it tough is if it was by itself, it'd be fine. But my army doesn't have the tools to deal with 3 flying scary things.
Right, you got the
has the
king
tools to deal
basically
with 2.
chasing stuff around, and that's
Right, and I got some shooting, and that's what I got.
but depending on the scenario, I think you're thinking about it the wrong way. Like, so if you've got something where you can park your stuff, he doesn't have enough to remove those defense things, unless 6 things, unless if he's getting in combat, which is where you want him, right?
Right.
So depending on the scenario, you can really castle up because anything that gets close, if you just torch it.
Yeah, he doesn't have a huge amount of lightning bolt.
No,
it's
I'm not really worried about the lightning bolt.
Mike Rossi,
that never really bothers me.
You've now majority of people on. Perhaps all of us on this.
I feel like I'm being
now
called out
been
for
involved in the email threads where you're like, "What do you think about my list?" And when everyone routinely says, "Drop Drain Life, it's garbage. Take Martyr's Prayer," defend yourself because you never give them a reason. Why are you doing it? That would help you so much in this match or any matchup with shooting.
Let me tell you why. The reason why I like Drain Life instead is because it allows me to put damage down later in the game when inevitably the stuff that the guy was standing next to is dead. Getting
you like
in the
averages,
late game,
right? How much damage are you doing with Drain Life?
All it
1
takes
to
is
2 points of damage.
All it takes is 1 or 2 to cause the nerve check, and because
so
he
take
walks
Blood
around,
Boil.
Yeah, because he walks around next to the steam tank and a Greater Earth Elemental, he's healing them up.
1 to 2 points.
That's all it takes.
And late game, I don't
like it. Well, we'll see what happens over the weekend.
I will sing the songs at the end of the tournament of how amazing that was. Or I will complain the entire time, which is normally what I do. So there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's fine. I think if you want to do the late game damage, you take Blood Boil, and if you want to do the heal, you take Martyr's Prayer.
Yeah.
Because both of those are much more effective at the job.
But Blood Boil's a magic item now, right?
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's already spoken for his magic item. So maybe Alchemist Curse or something like that. But I don't really need Alchemist Curse because he's standing next to things that hit with Crushing 3.
Yeah, you don't need
You
Alchemist.
know what I mean?
But, well, we'll see what it goes.
Because if I didn't need to put the Inspiring Talisman on, I was going to give him Martyr's Prayer and a regen armor. But the points didn't work out, and I need the extra source of Inspiring.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, how are we voting on this, Mike? You sound like you're voting against yourself.
On principle, I'm going to vote for myself.
Good. I like to hear that.
But I'm telling you right now, I gave you all the reasons why you shouldn't.
I think I'm going to vote for Mike too because I think in the right scenario, a lot of all that defense 6 nerve is going to be hard for him to move Brian to move in multiple places.
Dominate then.
Got
to start with something easy.
I'm gonna vote for Mike as well. I think as long as you don't get caught up in trying to tangle with the salamander hordes, there's not a lot in here that's scary.
How do I not? That sounds like crazy. As long as he doesn't
paint the picture in which Mike doesn't have to mess with the
seriously.
I
didn't have so much board space.
It's crazy.
They're movement 5. It's the same way someone says.
Movement
so are the dwarves.
Right.
But you don't.
But you can very easily put one very
like a
cheap
shop accident.
Yeah,
4.
but Mike, see, this is what you do. When someone has a horde you don't want to fight, you put something cheap or something you don't care about into it. So you throw something defense.
What do I have that does that? The list is inherently flawed.
I don't know. I think you can deploy very easily to avoid them for half the game. And as long as you do that, you can pick apart the rest of the army.
Here's to you.
Dude, I played undead that don't march the whole game, and I still, I mean, like, it's different. I get it, but you can do it.
All right, so Corey, where's your vote going here?
I hate to pile on, but I think I go with Mike here.
Are you kidding me?
Mike's angry we're voting for him.
I know. So much.
I'm gonna get it. You're gonna give me a light twitch.
Here, Mike. Feel better. Feel better, Mike.
That does make me feel better. Not gonna lie.
Okay, I'm gonna vote for Brian because if I vote for Mike, he'll burst in a friggin' blood vessel.
Come on, you two would love it.
But I do think Brian. I do agree with Mike. Brian has the edge in this matchup. I don't see Jake's opinion working in this case.
Not a billion years.
It is hard for Mike to get to grips with a lot of Brian's lists. So,
and that's the thing.
So much of this is really dependent on the scenario. Truly is.
That's true.
And that's the thing. Like I have the breath weapons and I have the organ gun, and I got a king that flies around and kind of a pain in the butt, but I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of concerned about that. Like at 2250, the list is much better. But whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's move on. We've cast our votes.
Oh my God! Yeah, enough about me.
Table 6. We're looking at Corey Walleyser versus Tim O'Brien in a Varangaroff. So let me get Corey's list going here.
Now, Mike, you make sure you tell Corey this is Tim's 4th game of King's War ever.
I will certainly do so.
The title of this battle is "Who Put the Grr in Varangar?"
All right, Corey's got 2 regiments of Bloodsworn, a Horde of the Fallen with Brew of Strength, pretty good. A troop of Thunderwolves, a regiment of Mounted Sons with Caterpillar Potion, solid choice. A Horde of Direfang Riders with the Brew of Haste. Yeah, King on Chimera with a Gift of Korgan for Life Leech. Interesting. Scald with a Banner of the Griffin, and then some Night Stalker allies. He's got a regiment of Spectres and a Void Lurker.
Ooh. And
then Mike, why don't you tell us what Tim is bringing?
Why, yes, I would love to. Tim is taking a Horde of Warband, a Horde of Bloodsworn with the Gift of Korgan to gain Fury, Crushing Strength 1. He has a Horde of Direfang Riders with the Gift of Korgan to gain Fury and Healing Brew, because he uses his 5 points. He has a Devourer with Breath 10 and Vicious. He has another Devourer with Breath 10 and Vicious. He has a Cavern Dweller, which is really good. He has 2 Magus Conclaves with Elite. He has a King on Chimera with the Chant of Hate. And he has Magnilda the Fallen. That's rather good.
Yeah.
I like that list.
That does one thing well.
I like it because I wrote it.
Somebody's biased.
Yeah, I think Direfang Riders are pretty tough to use. But they're
disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the nerve is a little bit low.
Sure.
And they're slow. And so those things combine to
movement 6.
I think the little bit of slow gives them an advantage because I think that when you're playing a Varangur list, which is obviously going to be overwhelmingly combat oriented, they're not, when you're like prioritizing what to deal with, they're not at the top of the list because they're slower. But you can't, with the Strider and 30 attacks hitting on 4,
exactly.
Like they're going to hit like a truck.
Really surprising.
And if you just let them come in, good luck, right? The nerve is pretty low. I like that Tim has all the monsters, and the Devourers are nimble and they're Pathfinder, which is helpful. Magnilda the Fallen is good. I mean, she's not Herja, but she's good.
She's much cheaper than Herja, though.
Yeah. Yep. Which is also
I mean,
balance.
The King on Chimera's got Elite and Vicious, but I think Corey having the Void Lurker
Yeah.
as well in his list is going to give him
Well, that's
Corey
that's
also-
it. The
He
twin
also has
linked,
speeds
right?
across the
the
board
twin linked.
part, right? I mean, he's got the Fallen,
Yeah.
got the Mounted Suns. His Direfang have the Brew of Haste. He's got Tundra Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
more speed.
down.
He's got fewer threats, but more speed.
Right.
And so the important thing here is that because he can dictate the charges, I would go with Corey, taking the experience out of it. Just that extra inch of movement makes such a big difference,
Mhm.
especially
it
since
does.
that first strike matters. You know what I mean?
The
That being
shooting-
said,
the shooting in Tim's list could be very good if he can roll well in those first couple of turns with the Magus Conclaves.
but the problem is you're going to be okay. So the Magus Conclaves can hit. They got a lead. It sounds great.
They're up against a high nerve army, though.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
It-
Yeah,
You
but
know?
Corey's got no way to heal it, so it sticks. And then when you
Yeah.
get into combat, it gives you an edge.
Because the Magus
Right.
Conclaves are piercing too, so if they hit in those first 2 turns well, it's going to give some problems because Corey
Yeah.
doesn't have as much in the drops to
Mhm.
then make up for it
Sure.
later on in the
And
combat.
those conclaves actually, they're hard to remove.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of
Yeah.
pain, yeah.
moving
Relatively.
around. They should be around the whole game doing damage, even end game. So
Mhm.
that'll be
Right.
interesting.
And the breath attacks on the
Good.
Devourers can be helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
All those things said, I'm going to vote for Corey. 1, because it sounds like Corey's obviously much more experienced, and 2, I think the speed, especially in a matchup where the experience is different, the speed is huge.
It's a huge role. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I would go the same way there.
Yep, I agree. But that being said, once again, I
Both.
really like
Yep.
the list that you wrote, Corey. It's a good list. I think
I
that Tim's-
can't take all the credit. Tim
I think
wanted
that Tim's gonna have a
Tim
good
really
time
liked
playing it.
Flowers and the Cavern Dweller. I was like, yeah, those are pretty cool. You don't see them very much, so
Right.
he was
Go
he was
do
really
it.
big on having those.
I think Corey was running a Devourer for a while, and it was doing some good work because of the breath and the vicious. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think he's gonna have a fun time playing it. To be
Yeah.
honest, it does stuff in all phases, and it does work when it gets in. So
Yep. So that said, I have to agree. I think Corey is going to win this one because I think that Void Lurker makes all the difference there. It's-
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Another flyer.
2 big monsters. Yeah.
Mhm.
Greg, you going with Corey?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
This was a clean.
I said,
that's,
I think the Night Stalker allies are a big advantage.
They help.
that's our first clean sweep prediction.
All right, Tim. Prove us wrong.
Prove us
I
wrong.
love
Yeah.
the Monster Mash list. Prove us wrong.
Yep.
All right, moving on to table 7, we've got Adriel versus Kyle Brock,
Oh boy, poor Adriel.
and who's got the next list here? Jake, I
I
think
believe
you're
I
up
have
next.
Adriel's list. Yep.
Yeah.
So Adriel's playing Forces of Nature with Herd Allies. And so Forces of Nature, he has a horde of Naiad and Snarers with the Hammer of Measured Force, 2 regiments of Hunters of the Wild and a troop of Hunters of the Wild, 2 hordes of Forest Shamblers, 2 Druids, both with Bane, both with Bane Chant, 1 with Aura of Heroism, and 1 with Alchemist Curse, a Tree Herder, a Forest Warden, the Woodland Critters in a regiment, and a horde of Lycans. So there's
That's
a
the
lot of
allies.
Vanguard in this. It's kind of cool.
It's a fast list.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Pathfinder too. Boatloads of that.
Sure.
Certainly useful.
And who has Kyle's list? I believe Greg.
that
is
would
that
be
you?
Corey.
Corey.
All right. So we've got Ratkin, 2 regiments of warriors, and a horde of warriors. We've got a horde of shock troops, a troop of claw shots, a horde of brutes with the brew of courage, a weapon team, not with the piercing.
That's interesting choice.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Must have been points. Type of
Yeah,
something.
probably. 2 death engines with the vile sorcery, and enforcer on a flea bag with the diadem of dragonkind. He's pretty awesome.
As you do.
Super cheap.
The warlock with heal 3 and shroud of the saint. Swarm crier with the healing charm. That's interesting. And demon spawn with fly. And he's got the lab rats formation. So I believe that means all of the warriors have regen,
Yeah, but
as
gives
well
those
as the
warriors
enforcer.
right.
So that might be where he's going with the double heal.
Right.
It's just keeping those
You
things
just
kicking.
Keeping them around.
Yeah.
You
One thing
remove it
worth
in one
noting
shot
is
or
that
deal with it. Yeah.
There's only 2 sources of inspiring in Kyle's list.
Yeah.
3, right?
Warlock.
No,
Warlock-
the
Warlock's
enforcer.
not.
The
Enforcer
Warlock's
enforcer
not
does
fun.
not inspire. He's
Yep,
a
so
rallying guy, though.
Yeah.
It's just a Swarm Crier and the Demon Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That being said, I don't think that Adriel has anything that can exploit that.
No, I agree.
He doesn't have anything that can go and find that other character and knock him on his butt. You know what I mean?
he doesn't have anything that's going to take on that demon spawn.
Yeah, I think
No.
the big problem is
Or the shock troops.
Yeah, true. True.
Oh.
and the Death Engine. He doesn't have something to really come to grips with them.
Well, okay, so
Because the Death Engines, I think, are the Death Engines and the Demon Spawn are the biggest threats, with the shock troops
Mm-hmm.
close behind. But the Death Engines, without that flying or quick individual to jump over the line to hit them, it's really tough to keep them from shooting.
Right, and he doesn't have anything fast enough to get there. Nope.
And
no, the whole
Adriel's
line runs up, and then the whole line
Is
fights.
in range,
is what
right?
he's
And that's
hoping
the
for.
problem. Because the Ratkin list wants the enemy closer.
So I was just going to chime in here, and I love Adriel and Kyle both to pieces. I don't like either of their lists, so I don't.
I'm happy to see
no.
a formation, though. I'm good to.
I'm happy to see a
Yeah, I
formation.
want to see how that
formations in play.
works out. I love that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ray Shields used it at Vanguard and said it worked pretty well.
Of course.
Lab Rats. He took this one.
Yep.
That's the one you do.
The regen, on that high nerve unit with the rallying really means they stick around.
Right.
Yeah, and taking the heal to back that up, that's interesting. So I'm curious to see how that works out.
I'm
Yeah.
going to vote Kyle.
Same.
I tend to agree here.
I hate to do it, but I'm gonna vote for Kyle too. I think that if he's gonna know what to do against Adriel's list. He's not gonna play Adriel's game. He's gonna do something else.
Yeah, we're gonna have another clean sweep.
Clean sweep
for Kyle. That's it. The one thing too about Adriel's, so if he wants to get into combat real fast, he can, because he can Vanguard all his stuff, and he's got the Lycans. But his druids are not mounted, and so that actually, if he does that, they're gonna be limited in their ability to cast spells,
Right.
because they're gonna need to run to get in inspiring range. So,
Right.
All right. Next up on table 8, we're looking at Chris Pelletier versus Peyton Shipman.
Ooh.
And Corey, looks like you've got the first list, which would be Chris's.
All right. So Chris has 2 regiments of flame bearers, 2 troops of gargoyles, a troop of succubi, a regiment of tortured souls, a horde of tortured souls, an abyssal harbinger with the loot of insatiable darkness. Why does that guy have fire bolts with 1 attack?
It's so silly, right?
why not?
That's awesome.
Scald with the throwing axe.
Oh, true.
Right.
He's got an abyss or an Efreet with the heart-seeking chant, the Well of Souls, an Archfiend of the Abyss with wings, and Veil of Shadows and the Blade of Slashing, and then the Cronius.
This is a good list.
Yep.
This is very good. I'm not sure about leaving those 5 points on the table again. Is that like a theme for you? Like,
Nobody likes the Blade of Slashing.
is that a thing you do with the missiles?
He does have a healing charge, Chris.
Or even the
Seriously.
waiver item. Yep.
Fire oil on something? I don't know.
Anything.
Yeah, but this is those monsters between the Efreet and the Cronius. That's a lot of shooting for somebody to eat. All at piercing, and then
And
the
the
two,
two
Great fire
regiments of
base
flame
with the
bearers.
flame bearers too.
Yeah.
and then the two
And
monsters
the one
combo
shot
charge really
on the
well.
Harbinger.
The one that's going to do something.
It's going to be the breaking point.
Puts it totally over the top.
Now,
All
that
right,
said,
so-
there's not a lot of punch in the list.
Well,
Well,
What?
the-
You got the Well and the Archfiend. That's about
Right.
it.
tortured souls.
Or the Torture Souls fight's okay. Yeah, this is right up
Not
my
a lot of
alley.
punch.
This is the style I play.
Pew pew, John. Pew pew.
Yeah.
You need 3 more Efreets, John.
All right, Greg, go take Peyton's list, will you? He's your roommate.
All right, Peyton. Here we go. He's got League of Rordia. We're starting off with a regiment of Halfling Braves with the Warbow of Kaba, because Peyton knows how to use 5 points. The troop of Halfling Scouts.
That's what we're drinking.
2
tonight.
troops of Crossbow Block 2 regiments of household knights, 1 with the potion of the caterpillar, 1 with the brew of strength, a horde of honor guard with the brew of haste, a halfling volley gun, a halfling iron beast, a mounted duke with the diadem of dragonkind, a second mounted duke with the Kabba's holy hand grenades,
Yes.
a duked on ancient winged Erlas with blade of slashing, and a wizard with bane chant, lightning, and the inspiring talisman. You might notice that Peyton has a crazy amount, not necessarily all that expensive, but a crazy amount of artifacts because he has a limited pool of models.
Right.
There's a lot of items in there.
Yeah, a lot of items.
So I've played a list similar to Chris's in the past. I guess I still do. And I've played against Peyton before, and I think that this works out well for that Abyssal list.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a combination of the flying monsters are better than the Duke on winged Erlas.
For sure.
They just hit harder, and there's 2 of them.
Not the Duke.
Not the
And the halfling shooting just doesn't stack up to what the Abyssals can do. It just killing stuff. So yeah, I think this is in Chris's court.
Yeah, I think Chris will get there pretty quick and start chewing through stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to vote Chris as well. Though I do think the Knights and the Honor Guard are what could spin it, because those Honor Guard can do some real work.
Honor Guard do work. They do.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Peyton here based on basically with that list, and he's been playing Kings of War for a while. Every time he plays, he's kind of on the back foot with like just the matchup based on lists, but he wins the vast majority of the games he plays. He's a good player, and as Noah put it, and Jake just reminded us, the Honor Guard are pretty darn unstoppable if they hit you.
Mm-hmm.
They
just run things over.
They just run it over. They one-shot things like crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna go with Peyton, and the reason why,
So a little unsure there.
No, I am a little unsure. But the reason why is because, once again, I think I'm looking at this list, and yes, in this matchup, the fact that there isn't a boatload, there's 2 things that are very scary, right, in Chris's list in terms of punching armor and things like that. So what are you going to do with the 2 units of knights and the honor guard and the winged flying guy? You know what I mean? I think that they're both really smart. But I think that when it comes to removing threats, I think that Peyton's going to be better at removing the 2 or 3 threats that he has to deal with. He has a pretty decent understanding of what's important and what isn't. I see 3 things in there that he has to take care of. But that's just me. I'm going to go with Peyton.
All right, Jake, you're going to break the tie here then.
No, I already voted for Chris.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, John. Jeez.
I listen. I'm trying to keep up. Okay.
I'm joking. You're good, man.
All right, moving on to table 9. We've got this is another grudge that happened later. Eric Rutens versus Kevin Spear.
Ooh, what a nice grudge.
Yeah. So let me take Eric's list.
Just friendly people.
This one came in like late. I had already done the matchups, and they were like, "Can we do a grudge?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll make it work." So this is Eric's list. Let's see. This is dwarves again. What's the 3rd or 4th dwarf list? He's got a regiment of ironclad, and then a horde of ironclad with the brew of haste, a regiment of iron guard,
like that,
horde of earth elementals with the brew of strength, a regiment of Brock riders with the caterpillar potion. Of all the dwarf lists, first unit of Brocks.
Sure.
3 organ guns, the army standard bearer with the banner of the griffin, king with wings of the honey maze, stone priest, a battle driller, a greater earth elemental, and a still behemoth. That makes 2,000 points.
Yeah.
Eric has done pretty well in the past.
He's good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And a tight player, too. Big fan.
Yep. Brock, yeah, interesting. I'm not to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Brock. So I understand why people would
so good, dude.
Maybe it's what I'm playing against them with.
Yeah, when you have a lot of breath that can just peel off the defense 3, yeah, they don't seem good. But play a different army,
it's just
man.
a lot. It requires resources to get rid of them.
It's like I use whites, and earth elementals aren't scary, but that doesn't make them not good.
I suppose. When I see Brock's across the table, I look at him. I'm like, oh, easy points, great. Anyway, so he's going to be up against Kevin Spear. And Mike, why don't you go ahead and take his list?
Sure. Kevin Spear starts with a regiment of Alohi. What? Even though he's taking a Brotherhood list.
Those are
Yeah,
allies.
right at the top. Yes, they are allies. Yep. He has a horde of Villain Martyrs with the Hammer of Measured Force, because you should. He has. That's good. He has 2 regiments of Order of the Brotherhood. One of them has Healing Brew. He has a regiment of the Order of the Redemption with Makwar's Potion of the Caterpillar.
Very good.
He has a regiment of Order of the Forsaken with the Staying Stone, which I like. He has a Forsaken Beast with Ensnare. He has an Exemplar of the Brotherhood with the Banner of the Griffin mounted. He has another one with the Blade of Slashing and mounted. He has a Devoted with Martyr's Prayer 7 and an Inspiring Talisman. He has an Exemplar Forsaker with the Mace of Crushing. And he has the Undaunted Crusaders formation, which does what? Gives him
Pathfinder on the night.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yep.
That looks so good.
Pathfinder to the Order of the Brotherhood, and then the Exemplar Forsaken gets Banechant.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a good list. All right. So I'm looking at Eric's list, and I like it insofar as I know how he's going to set up, and I think that he would have a much better chance if the other units of Knights didn't have Pathfinder. Oh, right. Seriously, because I actually think that if they didn't have Pathfinder, I know what Eric would do, and I think he would have the advantage in the grind. But that with Pathfinder, there's no stopping him from the Alpha Strike.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Ugh.
Yeah, if they didn't have
Defense
Pathfinder,
6 goes to
I'd like
2s.
those Iron Belcher organ guns would get some work done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. That being
He
said,
still gets probably 1 turn shooting with the Iron Belcher. Right?
He's got 3 of them. So
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some
He
things
might
get a
have
good
multiple
shot.
turns. The thing is, Kevin
Right.
can probably make sure that he's getting cover,
Right.
Yeah.
which cuts the amount of hits in half. So,
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And try to
get
get him to shoot out a regen unit.
Yeah.
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
the
go
triple
with-
organ gun is really good, though.
Yes.
It's a very
Yes.
I'm going to go with Kevin. If I had to look at these 2 lists and you asked me which one do you want to play, I'd rather play the Brotherhood. I think it has the maneuverability and the offensive punch to really do some damage. The Martyr's Prayer gives it just a little bit of heal, so if you half kill a unit, it should be mostly back up. And the Pathfinder means that suddenly the main weakness of the Brotherhood, terrain, isn't going to be a factor.
I love that formation.
I'm going to go with Kevin on this one because he took a formation, and I really just want to see more people taking formations. I'm interested to see how it affects the tournament. So I'm going with Kevin on that, and I also
helps the Brotherhood.
like the list. I think it's going to be fun to play.
I like how you made it. You made it sound like I have given my blessing to formations, and therefore more people should take them. People are going to take them if they win. You know what I mean? Which in this instance, it's a really good formation.
So we haven't seen tournaments that have allowed formations yet,
right?
And I just want to see, first of all, how many people took them, and then how it impacts the field. If people that go out with the formations are like, man, those are the best 30 points I've ever spent in a game of Kings of War,
right?
I want to like get that feedback after they've played at a GT with it versus kind of just reading it in the book and saying, oh, I don't know, it gives a couple units elite. That sounds pretty good, but is it worth 45 points? I don't know.
Right. I want to go with Eric so bad, but because of the Pathfinder, I really think that Kevin's going to be able to get up in there, get all up in them guts.
It changes the list, right? I mean, it lets you use that terrain much better.
Oh man, you know what? I'm going with Eric.
I'm with you, Mike. I'm going to go with Eric. I think once Kevin gets stuck in, if he gets stuck in and doesn't blow through a unit, it's going to mess him up because he just doesn't have anything to keep grinding out. Where I think
and the nerve on his regiments isn't that impressive.
No, it certainly isn't.
Yeah, so I think the Dwarves can take this with some really smart play.
They're both pretty good players, so I don't think there's a factor there.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Kevin. I think, I think his list is solid. I think the past 3 games of Kings of War I've played him, he's wiped the table with me. So he must be good.
Obviously.
All right. Then we're on to table 10, where we've got our own Nick Rosebud versus Orktown.
Ooh.
Matga. Let's see. That brings us to Jake. Why don't you take K2's list?
Okay.
For Orktown.
Which has an awesome background to it.
Yeah. He submitted his list, and it's got like a watermarked skull face in the back. So there's a theme to this list. It's read through it, and I'll tell you what the theme is.
So we've got 2 hordes of orc acts called the Red Shirts of Orktown, a horde of trolls, a regiment of gore riders, a regiment of gore chariots. I love the gore chariots, especially the regiments. Crudger on Slasher, which is the lieutenant, and it is on a winged slasher with the healing brew. Godspeaker, Baba, Motka, and the Green Lady.
Baba Matka instead of Baba Yaga.
Baba Matka. Yeah. Oh, I get it. He's got Heal 2, Drain Life. Baba Matka has Heal 2, Drain Life 6, and Inspiring Talisman. And then the Green Lady has Heal 2 and the Shroud of the Saint. There's a War Drum. And then allied in is a regiment of Flame Bearers. And Skullface, Supreme Commander of Orktown, which is an Archfiend of the Abyss with wings and lightning bolt.
So the theme behind this is Skullface was the leader of Orktown, but he died and went to hell. But he was too bad for hell, so hell sent him back as an Archfiend.
Yeah, awesome. Ridiculous.
Love it.
So ridiculous.
Love it. Okay, he's going to be up against Nick. So, Corey, take Nick's list.
All right, so Nick's got the undead. He's got a regiment of ghouls, a horde of revenants, and they've traded out the defense 5 for crushing strength 1 and blessing of the gods. We've got a regiment of mummies with the staying stone.
Seems like wasted points.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually do anything. What did he do?
Oops.
This is not how you spend the 5 points. How is this the common theme of this list? Like, God, people.
We're going to have to do a tutorial here.
We are.
That's a noob corner. How to spend
Seriously.
Yeah, we're doing that on our next episode.
It has to be.
Record it.
All right, so back to the list. A horde of werewolves with the brew of strength. A regiment of the Soul Reaver Cav with the potion of the caterpillar. A revenant king on an undead worm flying and brew of sharpness. Wow. A leech king with a mount. A replaced surge with heal 6 and shroud of the saint. And then he has allied in Night Stalkers with a regiment of phantoms and a Void Lurker.
So I think the Revenant King with Brew of Sharpness, you're paying so many points for.
Why not put that Brew of Sharpness on the Revenants and then put the Blessing of the Gods on the Revenant King?
Blessing of the Gods, or just Blade of Slash.
Right.
It's gonna really be effective if he gets a flank,
right?
Which is conceivable. He's a flying monster.
I think it's kind of compensating for some of the weakness of the Revenant King on Undead Worm, which is
right. But the blade
he doesn't have enough tax for 45 points, so that 9 attacks can be improved.
I know, but I would
get 2 extra hits one more time.
I wouldn't spend the points on Elite on that either, because at melee 4, Elite's not worth it.
Taking him cheap is just the reason why it's good.
I wouldn't spend any points on getting that thing more combat effective, to tell you the truth.
What's the point? Blade of Slashing.
Blade of Slashing is great.
Right, done.
Yeah. He's a grinder. Yeah, done.
Yeah. The Blessing of the Gods and the Revenants, I like Brew of Strength better because you want them to grind and extra.
You want them to be. I don't like dropping their defense.
No.
What they're there for.
I agree.
Nope. He could have changed. He could have taken the 5 points from the Staying Stone and added it to the Blessing of the Gods to get there.
Right. And I guess I'm not a fan of the Night Stalker allies in this list either. I would have rather seen just a regiment of
Soul Reaver
wraiths, taking another
wraiths instead of phantom.
Well,
I think having a little bit of shooting,
and you have more points.
Having a little bit of shooting can be very valuable.
Those are phantoms.
Those are
not
phantoms,
specters.
not specters.
Never mind.
Yeah,
he was running specters before.
But it does give
Void Lurker is nice.
It does give him 3 units of flying.
Very nice.
and then the werewolves too. So it's fast.
Yeah,
And
but
this
he
is
could
very
have taken a
fast.
second Revenant King and
Right.
save some
Suppose.
points.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for K2 because I like the style that he submitted his list, and I think it's cool.
I will say I'm not a huge fan of K2's list either, though.
I think there's several things that I'm like, I don't know if I agree with this, but but I play undead. I don't play orcs, and I know in the undead list there's several things that I'm like, I would not do this. I think it sort of like kind of removes the point of the unit. And yeah.
I'm going to vote for K2 as my principled vote against staying stone on the mummies.
I like it.
I'm voting for K2 because I love Archfiends.
Really? That's where we're at. This is the high level technical analysis that we're doing here.
Well, I think
He
even
has
if
a
you look,
watermark.
even if you look at it tactically, both the lists are weird. Both of them.
Sure, but the two hordes of axe backed up with a
Heal.
war drum
They can
and a
grind much
decent amount of
better.
heal is no joke. So
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
agree
think
with
about the rest of the list, it's got that solid foundation.
I'm right there with you,
Iron
Greg.
Work. The Crudger and the Archfiend are better than the.
That's what I was going to say.
Rev.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's right. Those win any fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's some grindability on the other side because of the life leech,
Although-
but boy, boom, blow you off the line.
John might have some bad flashbacks when the Archfiend tries to fight the Phantoms. He just
Oh.
doesn't do very well.
Oh no! Oh no! K2, don't attack Phantoms with the Archfiend. You think you're gonna kill them in 1 or 2 rounds, and you're not.
You're not, and they're gonna put 7 points of damage on you.
There are higher and better uses of that dude's time than to fly into a shitty unit like that.
Yeah, tell
So
me about it.
Let's go with,
The only thing
I'm going to go with
K2's
K2.
Yeah, the only thing K2's scared of in this undead list is the Soul Reavers, the Werewolves, and the Void Lurker.
And the Undead King and the
The Rev King isn't scary. He wants to grind. He doesn't pop units. I use him a lot. He's amazing, but he's more of a mobile block than
He doesn't kill stuff.
He doesn't kill
Yeah.
stuff.
Not that much. No.
And the orcs want someone to grind with them because they just grind so well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is
They're just out there on the dance floor looking for
Right, they're looking for that.
fresh victims.
They're making uncomfortable eye contact.
Yeah.
Just roll up to you.
all right. So this is a clean sweep for K2.
I think so.
I
right,
hate to
so-
say it, but yeah.
So I've got a question from the field while we've got everybody here and we're talking about it. Somebody asked, how do you score points for formations? Do you get the points if you kill
I have
every
no
unit
idea.
included in it?
I believe you have to kill all
whole
the
thing.
units. to
Yeah,
get the
you
points.
kill the units, you get the extra points.
That's
So you
how
got to
I
kill
would
every
play it.
single point of every single unit in the formation to get the points.
I
Right.
believe so, yes.
Yeah, and that sounds reasonable to me. I didn't know how to answer the question.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
I'll check
appropriate.
if it's in
Shoot it
the
out.
FAQ. I'll check in for this. It's
I don't think it is.
I don't remember seeing it in FAQ.
But if anybody watching knows the answer, throw it in the chat.
I
Yeah.
agree. Oh.
Okay, moving on to the next table then. Let's see. On table 11, we've got Joe Taylor versus Keith Conroy. And Jake, are you up next on the list here?
I think I go after Corey. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah, Greg. Sorry, Greg.
Okay.
So why don't you take Joe?
All right, so Joe's got the herd with elf allies and his elves. He's got a horde and a troop of kindred archers and a master hunter, which I would just
Master
say
Hunter's good.
I really like the master hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Then
master.
for the herd, horde of spirit walkers with the brew haste. We got 2 regiments of tribal longhorns, one with blessing the gods, one with chant of hate. A horde of guardian brutes with potion of the caterpillar. Chimera, Brutox, 2 shaman, one has heal 5, mount, drain life, black iron crown.
Another
And-
believer of the drain life, Mike.
Yeah, buddy.
with a black iron crown for drain life 7, and the other one has heal 5 and Shroud of the Saint. So he's got 8 plus. He's got 14 heal in the
No
list.
joke.
When you have something like a Brutox
Or spirit walkers.
with the
Right.
Spirit walkers, like that's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, interesting list.
Yeah, I like that.
I like the shooting allies.
Meh. It adds something.
All right, and let me run up Keith's list here. We've got more dwarves. We got a regiment of ironclad, a troop of sharpshooters, which Greg advocates for.
Mhm.
2 hordes of earth elementals, one with a healing brew, as you do.
The hearing, bro.
Hearing,
I hear it.
They hear you coming.
You pour it right in their ears. Like those snake oil guys. An iron belt, 2 iron belts or organ guns. King with the wings. Stone priest with Bane chant, Martyr's prayer, and amulet of the Fireheart. It's good. Hernius hunters. Hernius is hunter. Hernius the hunter. What? Whatever that guy is. Yeah. I feel like there's a word in there somewhere.
He's got
but
something.
there's some punctuation or something missing. And then Hernius is rangers. 2 regiments of those.
Ooh.
Can you take 2?
formation.
So I thought
Not only
the
one?
were living
formation, bro.
But is the formation in there?
Too.
Yeah,
No,
it's at the
the
bottom.
formation
I don't
is
see
not
the
in there.
formation in there.
The formation's free.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
You
you
still got to take it
Free.
though, don't you?
You-
whatever. Yeah, it's free.
click
Fine.
it, but it's free. So
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well,
Because they're both elite,
uh,
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
That's rather good.
they do say elite in the unit entry here.
yep.
Yeah, because they're Hernius Rangers.
Right.
Because
I get
all the
I
formation
get it.
does
Okay.
is unlock 2 of them rather than 1.
So Easy
Gotcha.
Army might not list
It
it
might-
because
right.
it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right. Then, so he's also got a battle driller, a greater earth elemental, and 2 regiments of mastiff hunting packs.
Wow, that's good.
Neat.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
So short and sweet. Keith Conroy's list has a good amount of shooting, maneuverability, especially with those Hernius Hunter regiments, which I
Those
really,
guys
really like.
are
They're-
pain in the ass.
They're really good.
They're very, very good. Hernius himself is no pushover.
Yeah, he's very good too.
And Joe's list, I don't think has the tools to deal with dwarf stuff. I mean, you're not looking at a lot of crushing strength, especially for a herd list.
I mean, with Joe's list, I like it, but I don't rate Guardian Brutes. They're not very good.
The push on the Caterpillar lets them be better.
They're still not very good.
Yeah,
They're
agreed.
hitting 4s. You need
The regiments of tribal longhorns I think,
are not
shooting
good.
just
Especially
melts
he
them.
spent 50 points on units again that have 12 attacks. Like
No items on them, and I think
Yeah.
they're decent, but
Yeah, I like
I
them.
think
I like them
healing
better in
could
troops
be-
anyway.
could be very good for Joe in this
Yes.
list. Though.
it's true.
Healing could be very good, and the little bit of elf shooting might, that might take out war machines. It might do something.
The hunter specifically, I think, could do some really nice stuff in this matchup because he has Vanguard and Pathfinder as well.
Hmm.
But I'm going to go with Keith. I think he has a more focused, solid list where each piece I see what its role is, whereas a couple of Joe's choices, I'm not quite certain what his thought process is. He only has really 1 flying threat, 1 fast threat, period, actually, which I think is a problem because he doesn't have the defense to do the slow board control slog.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna vote for Keith here as well.
I see this as a battle between Joe Taylor's shooting versus Keith's chaff. Is the way I kind of see this working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I think that Keith's chaff will allow him to dictate not getting this, like everything on Joe's list that does damage relies on TC.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see what you mean.
And you see what I mean?
Right.
So what's he going to do against elementals if he doesn't have TC? He's
Right,
going to
that-
run
that-
in, slap fight for a bit. You know what I mean?
Right, because if he could get those charges off, he could wreck. But with the Brutox, the Guardian Brutes, they would do a lot of damage.
They
to
would
the
do work. If they go in
Elementals.
with
Yeah.
TC and some Bane Champ behind them, they'll
Yeah.
make a mess.
Right.
But
But
if
I
they,
don't think
if
he's
those
got
are
it.
the-
Crushing too, but it's still not enough.
it's crushing 1 TC2, buddy.
No, the Brutox, crushing 2 TC2.
Oh, the Brutox. Yeah, but that thing's not going to be standing there.
Defense
It's going to
4.
blow it off the line.
Defense 4 is gonna melt.
Yeah.
It's got
those Rangers.
regen. It depends what you're shooting at, because there's a lot of just things that you could melt. I don't-
Oh, man. I want to go with
That
Joe
flying-
so...
That flying king is gonna go over there and shut down that horde of archers.
True.
Yeah.
I would really like to pick Joe in this one.
I want to
but
go with Joe so bad.
I don't think I can't. Can't. I
Yep,
gotta
I'm
take
going with
Keith.
Keith.
I'm gonna go with Keith. Darn it,
I'm going with Keith.
because I like Joe's list. I like what he's trying to do. I think he
Not
makes a
this,
couple
not
changes.
this matchup
Yeah.
though.
I
And,
think
yeah, a
I think
couple
if you're doing the Spirit Walker stuff though, why not take the formation that lets you Vanguard up?
Yeah, that would be very good.
And and I agree with you. Get rid of the 50 points of items on those 2 units because all you're going to get is an extra wound out of it.
Because the thing that makes them good is they're cost efficient. You put the
Right,
items on
right.
it, suddenly they're not cost efficient.
Right. Son
Yeah.
of a gun.
Yeah.
I want the herd to be good.
The herd is
The
good.
herd is good.
I want the herd to be better.
Shamans need to be, they come with base Bane Chant though, so you do that could help. But yeah, I've got to go with Keith.
All right. Moving on to table 12, we've got Bart Kohler versus Greg Anderson. And
Love me some
Mike,
Bart.
kick us off with Bart's
Goblins. All right.
Oh, coming at you. As you do with your goblin list, you start with a horde of spitters and
Solid.
another horde of spitters.
Yeah, there you go.
A regiment of trolls, a regiment of Fleabag riders with Kabba's holy hand grenades, a horde of Fleabag chariots, 3 war trombones, a king on chariot with the dwarven ale. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A bigot mounted on a Fleabag with the diadem of dragonkind, a whiz on a Fleabag with alchemist curse and the inspiring talisman. Another one mounted on a Fleabag with Alchemist Curse
Here
and
it
a circlet
comes.
of blood.
Here it
And
comes.
another one mounted on a Fleabag with the Alchemist Curse. 3.
Why would you give
with Alchemist
Circlet of
Curse.
Blood to a unit that you also paid the Alchemist Curse upgrade on?
Different
Right, right.
circumstances. Yeah,
Different circumstances, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
the blood boil is key in certain situations, and the alchemist
Damn
Curse
right.
is more of a general use thing.
Okay,
So
that
And the
makes
Wiz
sense.
is the only unit that could
That
get
can take it.
yeah,
Right. That makes
Right.
sense. Got it. Okay.
And then he's got a slasher with a sharp stick thrower, a slasher with a sharp stick thrower, and a slasher with a sharp stick thrower.
Why don't
Because
you just
everything
say
comes in
3
threes,
slashers?
dude.
though? Like,
Because
why?
everything
Why do
comes
you
in
do that?
threes. Because I don't know. Because I'm awful. Because it comes in threes.
I don't know.
Right? 3
And
war
then I have-
trombones, 3 dudes, 3. Yeah. Wow. 3 of everything.
Yep. Now I have Greg's list, correct?
yeah, Greg Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he is using salamanders. We've got a horde of primes, a troop of ancients, a troop of gecko warriors, a horde of tyrants with the blessing of the gods, 2 regiments of Kaizenor lancers, 1 with potion of the caterpillar, the gecko sky raiders, a horde of them with the jar of the 4 winds, which is very good,
That is cool.
a fire drake, a mounted mage priest with the
Like that.
Drain Light and inspiring talisman,
More drain life.
a mounted battle captain,
Believer.
and a clan lord on fire drake with wings and the boots of levitation for the marching breath weapon.
The marching breath weapon's pretty solid.
It's pretty
Especially on breath attack 16. Why, yes.
So
Yeah.
we're looking
The
at
vicious.
Yeah.
2 lists that both have the salamanders have a decent amount of shooting. And I definitely like the Sky Raiders with the Jar of the 4 Winds, so
Like
they
that.
don't have to get shot by the goblins if they don't want to.
Right.
Because he doesn't have the
No,
Big
they have
rock
blow
swords?
pipe, so their range is only 24.
only 24. Oh, okay.
Right. So
But-
supposed to get close enough.
I just see the goblins like just
Pew pew.
tearing this list apart. Really.
Yeah, there's
I
just
mean,
not
he's
enough.
got the king on chariot, which is the best unit in the game. Missed an opportunity by not taking 3.
You haven't
But
seen
yeah.
Corey's list yet.
Yeah, you haven't seen the best unit in the game yet, buddy.
Yeah, and there's a couple things in the salamander list that I think their points. So, like the troop of ancients on foot, for instance.
Yeah,
the
not
warriors
a
are
great
much
use of
better as a troop and much cheaper, right? The fire drake, I think, is okay, but I like the Lalicodons and the Comodons better for that range that I think is what's
Yeah.
going to fight
I mean, it
the.
would certainly help in this matchup. He could stay out of range of some of this stuff and put wounds on it. I just don't think the Salamander army has enough Alpha Strike components to like really push on the goblins. If he did, I think it could go poorly for Bart. But I think Bart can roll this one up pretty good.
Now, the salamanders could do some tricky stuff because their shooting has height. So if it wants to target stuff, it's going to be very difficult for the goblins to hide. But the problem is the goblins have so many like repetitive choices that you can't just target one thing and be like, well, that was the key. You're done. You know.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 3 war trombones. He's got all these slashers rolling around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the slashers
it's hard
are
to
monsters.
pinpoint one thing.
Right.
You're right. All the salamander shooting is concentrated in a few units, so he's only going to be able to pick off a few items at a time.
Right. Oh man, this one's tough though. For me, it's a tough one.
I don't think it's tough.
Yeah,
I think
You don't?
I'm going Bart.
I think it's clearly a win to Bart.
A couple of different choices in the salamander list, and I think this would be a better matchup, but I'm going to go with Bart.
Yeah, I'll go with Bart.
Sorry, Greg. Sweet
Greg
for
goes
Bart.
with Bart.
All right, so we've got,
I was the first one to.
We've got 5.
Yeah.
No, I think he was saying sorry, Greg, to the other
Greg
gotcha.
Anderson. Yeah. Five sweeps so far. You know, is what it is. Sometimes you think it's a good match. All right. Let's see. Moving on to table 13, we have Ryan Birch versus Willem Ackman. And that's going to be Corey. You got the first list there.
All right. So I've got Ryan's list. He's playing Forces of Nature. He's got a horde of salamanders with the Brew of Sharpness. That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 hordes of fire elementals. No. Yeah. And 2 hordes of water elementals. Nice.
Yeah.
A druid on a mount with Surge 7 and Alchemist Curse. Another druid, same loadout. Another druid, same loadout.
They come in 3s.
There you go. And he's got a tree herder with the Healing Brew. Excellent use of 5 points. And the Green Lady.
Bless you.
Oh, he's got a lot of heal.
And the Green Lady. Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of surge.
Yeah.
See what he's going for.
But he's not putting down a lot on the table.
No, it's very,
he's
very
not.
compact.
Very compact.
He's
Not
putting out
5
5
units.
hordes
It's not a lot of
and
nerves.
1
Not a lot
supporting
of unit
monster.
strength either.
Yep.
I mean,
And
unit
saying,
strength is going to
good
hurt in
luck.
some of these scenarios, you know? That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I like what he's facing.
So, okay. Anyway, let's see.
Kingdoms of
Greg.
Men.
Greg, you got
ahead.
Kingdoms of Men. Yep.
Is this our only Kingdoms of Men?
I think so.
I think there's 2.
Okay. Okay. Maybe it's the only one. Maybe not.
It might
So we're starting out 2 hordes of Shield Wall. We've got a horde of Foot Guard with the Brew of Strength. We've got a horde of the Heavy Pike Block with Potion of Caterpillar. So there's 4 hordes to match. No, he does have 5 hordes to match.
Yeah.
He's fighting. We got 2 regiments of the Spear Phalanx, a horde of Arquebuses with Jar of the 4 Winds, 3 Siege Artillery, a hero on a Pegasus with Brew of Haste, an Army Standard Bearer with Loot of Insatiable Darkness, and 2 Wizards. One of them replacing Fireball with Lightning 3, also has Aura of Heroism, also has Banner of the Griffin. Then the second one, replacing Fireball with Lightning 3, Bane Chant 2, and Inspiring Talisman.
Neither of these lists are going to be able to kill much of their opponent.
No.
I was thinking that. Yeah. The Kingdoms of Men clearly have the nerve advantage, but
Right.
This is going to be a mash in the middle for 5 turns.
For 5 turns.
Because the
Good
siege
luck.
artillery, if they hit, the damage gets healed up. Same if or even if you focus fire the horde of handgunners and 3 siege artillery into the same unit, unless if all 3 siege artillery hit and roll
Which
decent
Jake is
blasts.
familiar with.
Yes, it's not going to work, and then the elementals are going to take so long to grind through these human hordes.
Yeah, because they don't put out enough attacks and they all hit on 4s.
Right.
Right.
The Foot Guard could do some damage, especially he's got Bane Chant backing him up. So 25 attacks, 3s and 3s. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
The Heavy Pike Block, I don't see those elementals killing.
Because of insane.
You know, flank.
Hit on 5s.
Hit on 5s.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
going to give the edge to the Kingdoms of Men list only because it has a few tools that could pull it their way. But
Yeah.
Well,
honestly,
if it's a if it's a big grind fest in the middle, the Kingdoms of Men have more unit strength, so
Right.
that could be the deciding factor.
Depending on scenario, it could make a big difference.
Having that
the
unit that
salamander
hits on
list in
threes.
the nature is very compact.
Right.
And Alchemist Curse in this matchup is not going to matter.
Not good.
Everything's
No.
defense 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except for
It's
the foot guard.
Yeah.
And then the fact that the water elementals fly.
Wait, they don't
They don't
fly.
fly.
Talking
They're
about
speed
They
Speed
don't
seven.
fly.
Speed
That's right. I'm
seven.
thinking the air
Seven.
ones.
Yeah, you're thinking
Speed
air
7.
elementals.
I think
Hey, Region.
I'm gonna pick the Forces of Nature army here, just because I think there's an opportunity here for some surge shenanigans to maybe make something happen.
And the
There's a
two
lot of heal.
water elementals have regen with
Mhm.
the heal at 8.
I think
the-
if he gets into combat early
Lady.
enough, he'll eventually grind out the Kingdoms of Men.
True.
I'm going to go with the
man.
Kingdoms of Men here. I think he's going to be able to probably work some flanks in there and just and a little bit of shooting could make a big difference.
Depends on what he targets.
Depends on what he targets.
There's
I'll
not a
go with
lot
the-
to choose from.
There's
Right,
also
I mean-
like the heal on the Pegasus with Brew of Haste can really threaten the casters
Artillery,
because
right.
he's large cav, so he's height 3, so they can't really hide behind the elementals that well.
Right.
And he's at a 22-inch threat range, so he could go over there and disrupt.
And the casters are mounted, so theoretically he could go for some shots onto them. I mean, you get minuses for cover and stuff. You probably don't do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Kingdoms of Men. I think Willem's got it. Barely.
I'm going Kingdoms of Men, but
Only
I
because
think
of the
it'll
artillery.
be- I think it'll be an interesting fight where everything is just crashing against.
It'll be
Yeah.
a
in the middle.
scrum.
Jake, where's your vote going here?
Going Kingdoms of Men.
Okay. All right. So Corey, you're the
I'm the conscientious objector.
yeah, okay. That's good. It's good. All right. Table 14 were Doug Blake versus Jeremy Filner. And let's see. Mike, why don't you take Doug's list?
Sure. He has a horde of. He's taking Abyssal Dwarves. He has a horde of Black Souls with the Brew of Strength, a horde of Lesser Obsidian Golems with the Healing Brew, and another horde of Lesser Obsidian Golems with the Brew of Courage. It's kind of cool. A regiment of Slave Orc Gore Riders, a regiment of Abyssal Half-Breeds with the Mace of Crushing, a horde of Abyssal Grotesques with the Blessing of the Gods, 3 Anchor Heavy Mortars, an Abyssal Half-Breed Champion with the Blade of Slashing, an Ironcaster with Surge 8 and the Inspiring Talisman, and a regiment of Mutated Mastiff Hunting Pack with a war bow, because dogs are known for shooting bows. I dig it.
Hey, there is a handler that goes. If you read the description, there's a handler who goes. with them.
Obviously,
I just keep thinking of like the Simpsons, where Homer's like, "Are you going to release the hounds or the bees or the hounds with bees in their mouth when they bark at you? Bees come out."
This is going to be
Oh, can I read the next list?
a really one-sided list because of those more. Wait,
Oh my god!
wait till you see what he's up against.
Lord.
So who is it? It's me up to read it, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
me actually. So this is Basileia, however you say it.
All of it.
You ready for this? Regiment of Paladin Foot Guard exchange the 2-hand weapons to get Crushing Strength with a Brew of Strength. Another one with a Brew of Haste, and then another one without an item, and another one without an item, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. That's 9?
There's 9.
9?
9 units. 9 regiments.
He's got a Bear of the Holy Icon with the loot, 2 priests, one with Bane Chant and Shroud of the Saint, the other just Bane Chant, a Domitus, and the Forlorn Guard, which is basically another regiment of Paladin Guard. So he's got
With
10
Crushing Strength 1.
This one's got Crushing
Yeah.
Strength 1 built in, so it keeps
Yeah.
defense 5. But
And they're fearless.
you got 10 regiments of Paladin Guard just coming across the table. It's
And
hilarious.
the special rule on
Yeah.
for redemption gives everybody within the Dominus 6 inches, they get elite.
Oh,
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
So
I guess
No,
Against
no.
anybody else, I think those heavy mortars could get work done. Against this list, they're gonna do shit, nothing.
you think so? Because the heavy mortars hit and just demolish a unit.
No, they don't.
They
Each
don't.
one of these.
They don't.
It's 15, 17 nerve, dude.
It
Right.
won't kill it.
They don't
They
do
won't
it.
kill it.
But
it's
there's
on
It needs
fire.
2 hits.
There's not. So
2 hits.
you've got
2
D6.
of them.
So yeah, 2 hits, but nothing heals. I mean, you've got what? Heal 5, whatever.
And another heal too.
He's got
And
Oh,
the
I
iron
units.
Skull,
Of
bro.
these.
Like, what do you?
He's got a lot of these, but
everything has
He
Iron
can't-
Resolve and
he can't-
Headstrong.
what does he kill the obsidian golems with?
Flank charges.
Flank charges,
Flanks.
maybe. Black Souls, the Horde of Black Souls, same thing. I mean, you're really relying on
And
flanking
Dominus.
with infantry and Dominus.
Yeah, hold up. He actually has. Let's get this right. He has heal
Crushing strength
6,
on the whole army.
9
Enchant.
plus 3. He has heal 12. So let's
Right.
Where's the
recognize
other?
that first.
Where's
And
the-
everything's
And
iron.
he's got
Hits
Bane
thrown
Chain.
around.
Where's the?
So everything.
Oh,
crushing
Dominus
two
has
where it
heal.
needs to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's got Bane Chain a couple times.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
The
I think this is good.
The Abyssal Dwarf list is good, but Slave Orc Gore Riders are not good.
Terrible.
They're terrible.
So he wasted
Jeremy
some points
Filner
there.
just pointed out one of the paladins has the brew of strength as well, so he has crushing strength 3 on that one.
That's
If he
true.
wants it.
Woo!
That's true.
I'll tell you, I like this list, except
Yeah.
for everything moves 5, which I'm
Well,
used to.
yeah, but it's just gonna march across the table.
Yeah.
Right.
I
What are you
really-
gonna do?
Just because, like,
What
I
do you
really
do?
hope I play this army because it's where Windblast is like so happy.
Right.
Right.
Nothing
Oh,
flies and it's
stay
all
away.
speed 5.
Stay away.
I can't
stay
wait.
Well, I think I know
15,
where Jake,
17 is a thing.
I know where Jake's going with this one.
Yeah,
We'll just
I'm-
throw it out there. Jake's going with Doug.
I'm going. I'm
Dum,
going
dum,
with the Abyssal Dwarves. I don't think this Basilia list is good. I see it being good in certain matchups. This might even be one of them, but like I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good in this matchup.
You don't think the
think it's
Basilia list is
pretty-
good in this matchup?
Not in this one, no.
think
I have an
it's
idea of
pretty
how it
darn
would-
good in
I have
this
an idea.
matchup.
I think the Basilia list is very happy about this matchup.
I don't
I
think
think
this
so
is a
too.
bad matchup for the Basilia list, but I think Doug has more tools. I don't know. I also
Do you?
No, he said it. I think he does.
yep,
It's a wider variety of tools.
wider variety. That speed. I don't know. The
I'm going,
Basilia list
I'm
does
going
one-
Basilia.
Sure. The
I'm
Basilia-
going Basilia. Count it.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Basilia.
Oh, Mike! I thought you were gonna go the other way.
Nah, I'm going Basilia. The more I look at this, the more I really think that, like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna kill 3 of those units, and then so what?
So what? Everything
That's
else
right.
is locked up. He could lock up his entire army and then just start flanking from
He's
there.
got like 27 unit strength too.
Yep.
It's
The
ridiculous.
thing.
I don't know.
Whew. All right.
All this talk about that's a spam list. I'm all right with.
Yeah. Because the spam moves 5.
Well, because it's not everything shooting you off the table. You actually get to play a game against it.
Jake and Corey, you're taking this next one. This is going to be Clinton versus Mike Austin.
I've got Clinton, correct?
Quick question about Clinton's list. It says Ogres at the top. Is that a
Ogres.
typo? Or is that
It's a new army. You didn't hear about
his
it?
army? Ogres.
It's
It's neighbor to Northern Alliance, the ancient ogres.
Scottish.
So he's taking ogres. He's got 2 hordes of siege breakers, a horde of hunters, a regiment of shooters with the brew of kindness, a horde of boomers, 2 troops of red goblin scouts, 2 army standards, 1 with the healing charm, a boomer sergeant with the blade of beast slayer,
What?
and that's very weird,
What?
and 2 regiments of Aloe.
What?
Oh.
It's like you took a unit and then forgot what it was for and gave it an item.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
That should be an inspiring talisman. This is the same
It
amount of
is
points.
exactly what it should be.
So I understand that you can't ignore siege breakers because they hit like trucks, but
You
I
can
don't-
ignore siege breakers.
that's the thing. I don't really rate them because every time I play against them, I do just ignore them.
And they're
Yeah.
just a little bit slower.
Just
A little slower. Yeah.
So what's he facing?
All right. So elves, Mike Austin.
Oh, yep. I looked at who it was. I was like,
You
I don't
could
even
ignore it too. So Mike's starting off with the standard horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant.
As you do.
Yes, sir. 2 regiments of the Palace Guard, which are good.
Very good.
A horde of kindred tall spears with the hammer of measured force.
Oh, I see why.
There's a reason for that.
Yep. 2 hordes of Draken Riders, 1 with the Potion of the Caterpillar, 1 with Fire Oil. 2 Dragon Breath weapons. An army standard bearer on a horse with a diadem of dragonkind. Only 1 noble war chariot. Boo. The Green Lady and the honor guard of the Green Lady is the formation.
Yeah.
Which gives
So
those
that
tall
means-
spears regen.
Yep.
Yeah.
As well as the Palace Guard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it makes them really good.
So
Yeah,
Mike isn't scared of this match at all.
No.
Not in the least.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not in the least.
So I'm going to go Mike. He's just going to pick apart this ogre list, take
Yep,
his
he
charts
is.
where he wants
Yep.
them.
He's just
I like
gonna roll
Mike's, I like
I don't
Mike's list a lot. He's got a couple elements of shooting, but not as much as a lot of elf lists. But it's backed up with much more of a combat threat.
Yeah, it's got some
Those
spine
tall
behind it.
spears with 30 attacks, hammer of measured force are a threat.
Yeah.
They're elite. They're always damaging on 4s.
And now they have
Yeah.
regen.
Yeah,
And
with
Palace
regen
Guard,
backing them up and
ignore
the
them
Green
either.
Lady. Yeah,
That's giving the elves a grind unit.
Yep.
Mhm.
Very
I
good.
like it.
That's 4, but
And the Green Lady with heal 8 just backing all that up. So
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think the ogres have a prayer here.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, not to
Nope.
mention, I don't know Clinton, but Mike is very good with elves, and I think he's going back to his roots. He was doing a little bit more chariots at the Masters, and I think he probably decided this is more the way he wants to go. This is closer to what he's been playing. So
Yeah, I don't think
and
he
this
did
is the
chariots.
first match of the tournament. It's the Saturday morning where Mike is fresh.
He
and
won't be. He'll be conscious.
conscious. So
Yeah.
There's an
Very
environmental advantage going on.
Absolutely.
now if they were
You got him
playing
a day too
Sunday
soon.
morning, anything could happen.
That's it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
go with Mike.
All right, we're going to
This-
sweep with
We're
Mike.
going to clean sweep.
I certainly
Even
don't wanna
even
play
with the
against
2 units of Aloha in there, I just don't think it gets it
No.
done.
that. No. What's he gonna do?
All right. Table 16 will be Chris Rebello versus Jim Ellsworth. And Greg, why don't you take one of those?
Okay, so Chris is the next dwarf player. He's got 2 hordes of Ironclad, regiment of Rangers, 2 regiments of Berserker Brock Riders, 1 with Potion of the Caterpillar, 1 with Blade of Slashing, 1 Iron Belcher Organ Gun, an Army Standard Bearer with Loot of Insatiable Darkness, 2 mounted Berserker Lords, 1 with Blade of Beast Slayer, 1 with Blade of the Beast Slayer, and 1 with Pipes of Terror, which is awesome. 2 regiments of Massive Hunting Pack and forces of Basilia allies with 2 regiments of Alohi. Surprisingly fast
yeah,
Yeah.
for a dwarf list between vanguarding the Rangers, 2 Brock Riders,
And 2
2
Berserker
Berserker
Lords.
Lords,
Yeah.
and 2 regiments of Alohi. The hordes of Ironclad are basically going to be unsupported,
I'm
but
just gonna
Yeah.
sit back and contest objectives.
yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Before we go to the next list, I just realized something actually. We never really introduced Corey. So I meant to do this,
late for that.
I meant to do this right in the beginning. So Corey is the TO of the Crossroads GT out in western upstate New York, whatever you want to call it,
Whatever you want to call it.
middle of nowhere, New York. So he agreed to join us tonight just for some fun, talking about lists and whatnot. Corey, do you want to give a plug?
Sure, I will plug. So, like John said, I'm the TO for the Crossroads GT. This year, it's going to be a 4-man team tournament that we're going to be doing. So, be looking out for registration information on that very soon. And
Yeah,
that's the last weekend of September.
the rest of us here, this is Team Unplugged Radio.
Yeah.
Sign us up.
Sign us up on registered.
Yeah. Is the registration already open?
No, it's not open yet.
Okay, I didn't. All right.
So thanks for joining us tonight, Corey.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So Jim's list is elves. He's got for some reason his list came out of Easy Army and it does not look like all the other ones.
Yeah,
Because
it's
he
funky.
didn't download a PDF.
He did a printout or something. All
He
right,
did
so
a printout of the like list view.
it's fine. It's just different than it's the only one like this.
Again,
Jim.
this will be covered in our
He wanted
new
it to
corner
stand
of
out.
how to use the army and write lists that are
Right.
2,000 points.
The classic Jim Ellsworth. It's correct, but a little off.
Yeah, it's almost there. All right,
You know what I mean?
he's got a horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant. We've seen that before. Regiment of Palace Guard, regiment of Hunters of the Wild with the Chalice of Wrath. He's got a horde of Forest Shamblers with the Brute of Strength, a regiment of Stormwind Cav with the Caterpillar Potion, 2 Bolt Throwers, 2 Mages. One has the Bane Chant and Inspiring Talisman, and the other has Martyr's Prayer and Amulet of the Fireheart. Then he's got a Dragon Kindred Lord with Boots of Levitation for that mobile breath weapon.
Yeah.
And then he took the Windborn, the legendary Silver Breeze Cab, which
They're
are
awesome.
which are
So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm a
So
fan.
good. For just a couple more points than the normal ones, which I like
Yeah.
anyway. These guys are awesome. So that is Jim's elf list.
I think Jim is going to be disappointed in the Forest Shamblers.
I agree with you.
And
I
the
always am.
Hunters of the Wild.
Yeah.
Neither of those units are very good.
Yeah, I like Forest Shamblers and regiments.
Mhm.
Just naked. They're cheap.
As chaff.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to deal with them. Yeah, but as a horde, you're investing a lot of points in a unit that just doesn't do enough damage.
He doesn't have any way to surge him.
No.
That too. Yeah.
Because I could understand taking him in a horde if you were going to surge him, because then you get
Right.
to you get to turn in place and go. But he doesn't
Right.
have that.
So
Weird
this
decision.
list might actually have trouble dealing with the Brox because I don't know if it has enough
The dwarf
shooting.
list is actually faster than this elf list.
Right? No,
And the Berserker Lord, the 2 Berserker Lords are
oh,
going to
have a field
do
day.
a lot of work.
That.
A
Yeah.
lot of work.
And there is the missed opportunity with the Elven Mage. You could
Iron
use
Crown.
Iron Crown to get Bane Chant 3, and
Yeah,
Archer hordes are very, very threatening.
Yeah.
that is a thing.
I'm going to go with the dwarf list.
Yeah, I am too.
I
And
think
there's some things in that dwarf list that I don't like.
yeah.
The hordes of Ironclad. What are they
I
doing?
think they're fine.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
They're
of
bringing
the only reason
unit strength to the table that's hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just sit them back
Yeah.
there with the organ gun and the
And just
army
kinda
standard
hang
bearer
out.
and the
Yeah.
rangers and just see what happens.
Right. I don't
They
know.
drink beer while the rest of the army does work.
That's right.
Right.
The ultimate dwarf.
They
Yeah.
complain about it.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you're going dwarves.
No. Yes.
No.
I'm going. I'll go with dwarves.
Jake,
I'm going dwarves.
Ori.
Ditto.
Yeah. Okay. This is a sweep then, huh?
Yep.
All right. All right, we're getting to the end here. Table 17, we've got more dwarves. Pat O'Neill versus Scott Craig. And it looks like Mike,
Oh,
you're up to
Captain
go this.
Planet. All right. Pat O'Neill, his dwarf list has a horde of bulwarkers with the Hammer of Measured Force, because you should. A regiment of rangers, a troop of sharpshooters, because they're money every time. 2 hordes of earth elementals, a regiment of Berserker Brock Riders with Macwar's Potion of the Caterpillar, because that's how they come. 2 organ guns, a army standard bearer with the electric guitar of Insatiable Darkness,
Yes.
a Berserker Lord mounted on a Brock with the Blade of the Beast Slayer. He's got a Stone Priest with Bane Chant 2, Martyr's Prayer 7, and the Amulet of the Fire Heart,
Good choice,
steel-
Marty's Prayer.
and a Steel Behemoth. I respectfully disagree.
You know, the master would disagree.
That's all that matters. That's a good list.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I like
Because
that.
Just like all the other lists, except for the previous one we looked
It's
at.
Nah,
No, it's
He-
different enough.
it's not just that.
Bulwarkers.
He's got some
2
efficient
Iron
choices in here.
Belchers.
This is more variety. It's got it's not pushed in. A lot of the other dwarf lists were one direction or the other. This has really got a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
can I
and
just point out some of the irony that we have the most dwarves I've ever seen in a tournament but Alex, who is like the dwarf whisperer, isn't playing dwarves. It's sort of funny.
They're so
True.
blasé now.
He's like,
They're
yeah,
moved
been
on.
there.
It's done.
Yeah, won the Masters with those. On to something else
The
now.
interesting thing is that I've been following is that every dwarf list has an army standard bearer with either Banner of the Griffin or Loot of Insatiable Darkness.
Not me,
I think
bro.
Banner of the Griffin is better, but
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree, but not me.
All
I
of
don't
them have a steel behemoth.
Yeah,
no,
because
Keith
now they're
doesn't have
good.
a
They're
steel
good,
behemoth,
but I could be wrong.
and
Oh, the two of them not? Okay.
Looked at didn't have a steel behemoth.
Okay.
Bruce,
My bad.
Rebellums.
All right.
Anyway,
Who's got the next
one.
list?
Is that me?
Jake, yeah, that would be you.
All right, so this is Scott Craig's list. Correct?
Love this list.
And he is using forces of nature, and there is, I believe, a theme going on here.
There
So
is.
we've got a horde of earth elementals with the Brew of Haste, a horde of fire elementals with the Blade of Slashing, a horde of air elementals with the Helm of Confidence, and a horde of water elementals. Then we've got 3 druids. All 3 have Bane Chant, all 3 have Wild Companions, and 2 have Surge.
What's the Wild Companion do?
It's
one
one
use only
fireball.
fireball 5 with piercing 1.
Yeah.
Yep. But it can only target certain units, right?
No, it can target any.
No, target anything.
Okay. Tree Herder, and then 3 greater elementals, 1 earth, 1 fire, and 1 water.
So the real like tragedy of this list
Is that you're not
Is
allowed
that-
to take.
is you're not allowed to take the 4th greater elemental.
It's so
Right.
stupid.
You would
It's
do
really
that instead of Tree
stupid.
Herder.
You could
Yeah.
have. You could have. You could have taken
No, you
the
can't.
name
No, you
fire
can't.
elemental.
Oh, okay.
You could take the name fire
You could
elemental.
take the
and
living
then-
legend.
Right. Who's very
That
good.
chick's
Fire
amazing,
elemental.
by the way. She's amazing.
Yeah, actually, Scott, if you're listening to this, we will
Do
let
that.
you resubmit your list.
Piercing, dude.
I almost feel like house ruling just for Scott's list to let him take the greater fire elemental.
No, but just take the living legend one because it's so good.
It's
Piercing
amazing.
4 with
It's amazing.
attack 12.
Right. Harry says Harry calls it being put in the microwave.
Nice.
That's funny. So this is his Captain Planet army. Each of the druids is also themed with their wild companions. So like one wild companion is like a little flame spirit, and one
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
I love it.
is a cool army. It's fun.
So I'm going to vote the dwarf list though, because that Berserker Brock Lord is going to.
He's licking his lips right now.
It totally is.
Got targets galore.
everything except for the druids. All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
Oh, but he's only got one. The other dwarf list had 2 Brock Lords.
Yeah.
Of course, only one of them has Blaze the Beast Slayer.
Right, which is all you.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's the one you need.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, but what about the rest of the list? He can't kill everything on his own.
It's true.
I
but
don't know.
think
I kind of
the way-
like the Forces of Nature army in this
You
one.
think?
I think
I don't know. I think the dwarf
it's
list
punchy.
can grind with the forces of nature enough to let that Brock Lord ping on the wounds to pull off the hordes.
Guys,
And again, like all the elementals are hitting on 4s. So like, what are they doing against
The bulwark.
Everything in both
There you
armies. is
go.
hitting on fours.
Nothing.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not doing anything to the
most part.
bulwarkers.
the bulwarkers don't care, and they hit back and wound on 4s.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I think that there's more variety in the dwarf list, and I think that
Oh, there
if
certainly
Pat
is.
knows what he's doing, he'll put the pieces together and
Pat's
start
been-
picking pieces apart.
Pat's been playing pretty well lately. He's a kind of a new player, I
Yeah.
guess, but he's come on strong. So
Raj, I'm gonna go with Pat. I love Scott Craig. I love his list. I love playing against that dude. It's just if he takes the named fire elemental, I actually give it to him because that dude that chick is brutal. That chick is brutal. Right?
Okay.
Vicious. Burp. Take wounds.
Jake, you going dwarves?
Yeah.
Corey,
I'm gonna pick the
no elementals.
elementals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg, where you at on this one?
Dwarves.
Dwarves. All right, I think I'm gonna go elementals on this one,
Nice.
just because
Pretty
I like
split. I like
just
it.
because I like it.
I love it.
Like
I know.
All right, last but not least, we have William Potter versus Corey Reynolds. And Corey, why don't you read the list you're up against?
The one I'm up against is undead. So we've got a regiment of Soul Reaver infantry. We've got two troops of revenants that have exchanged their defense out for crushing strength 1. A horde of revenants with the brew of strength and undead rats. A regiment of zombie trolls. Ooh. a regiment of werewolves, a horde of werewolves with the potion of the caterpillar, a horde of wights, a revenant king on a flying undead worm, the leech king mounted with heal 6, and a necromancer with bane chant mounted and inspiring talisman.
Okay. And I'll read Corey's list.
Yeah, Greg.
Dick bag of a list.
Ugh.
He's got a horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant. It's elf list. 3 troops of Silver Breeze cavalry, one of
Love
which is the brew of
that.
haste.
Good.
Yeah.
He's got a horde of Draken riders with Potion of the Caterpillar, a horde of war chariots with Wine of Elven Kind, 3 noble war chariots. He has a horde of lichens. Oh, so he has herd allies with a horde of lichens and a chimera. So the first thing to note about Corey's list is that it has no inspiring.
None.
Oh, what?
None whatsoever.
So I did that at Masters too.
So he's just so confident that he's going to kill everything.
You don't need inspiring if they can't damage you, right?
That's the
You
plan.
never have to take a check.
That's the plan.
I think it is a bit of a shame that the noble war chariots aren't inspiring.
No.
that's what we did.
It's not a shame.
Good.
Stop it.
Bull.
Anyway,
It's a shame this stuff isn't better. Stop it.
you're crazy not to pick Corey in this match.
So,
You're
yeah.
crazy.
Corey's
So-
list is very good. I mean, the real thing, if he had 10 more points, but I don't know where he would get it. If he had 10 more points, one of those troops of Silver Breeze cavalry could be the legendary
Special
unit.
one, which is so
Correct.
good.
So good.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
no, the items he has are,
25 points.
you can't change them. They're useful.
Mhm. So a couple of thoughts on the undead list. The troops of
Like it's 10 points because the Brew of Haste unit could change.
Oh, right. Got it. Thank you.
I think you could probably get away with dropping Wine of Elven Kind for something else, but I
No,
understand the
that
market.
unit
needs it. Good.
That unit needs it.
I get it.
Boy, I wish that Bill had 1 or 2 more things that were fast.
Yep.
Or,
More staying power.
or useful.
Well-
He's got some units
The
in there.
troops
Like,
of
what are they
Revenants are
doing?
terrible. They're
Yeah.
just not
I'm
good.
The
looking
regiment of zombie trolls
And their
and the regiment
defense
of werewolves.
I don't see how it
adds.
adds up to 2,000 points. I'm not even sure where it all comes from.
So the Revenant should be Ghoul Troop,
Defies logic.
Yes, Ghoul troops would be much better there.
and you save 20 points, right? Each. So that's 40 points right there. The Revenant Horde is good. Soul Reaver Infantry are expensive.
But they're good.
For those 40 points, though, that could be a Soul Reaver Regiment, which is much scarier.
Yeah.
On a mounted one, I think you need.
25 attacks is no joke.
Yeah,
It's not.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, but they
But
get
it's
Alpha Strike
serious.
a lot. You know,
Yep.
that's the
I know, but that hits hard.
And I think the thing that this list really needs, and the undead really, really need this, is you need at least 2 flying threats to deal a shooting because you're not firing back. So
No.
you need that either that the Cursed Pharaoh with the wings or 2 troops of wraiths.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Corey's list is just going to pick it apart, and you have nothing. Only answer is to throw the Revenant King in and hope that and it's just not enough.
There's no chance for that undead list. No, there's no freaking chance. And this is Corey. You are a lucky SOB because you don't need firing at all in this matchup. Forget your plan for alpha striking. You wouldn't need it even if it just wouldn't even matter here.
Exactly right. I can just sit back and shoot it all. And then before
Yeah,
it
you don't
gets
even need to get into combat.
No,
Buddy.
no.
It is unfortunate because it is a great matchup for me. I hate saying that, but
It
this
is.
one's just like playing Trident Realms. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful.
Just look
So
at your
this was,
comp.
wait. Can we wait? This was a grudge, Corey Reynolds. He saw his list and said, "Sure, I'll take that."
Son of a.
All right, so we We have a total of 18 matches tonight. We labeled 8 of them as clean sweeps, at least prediction-wise. So we'll see how that pans out.
Almost half
We'll
of
be
them.
wrong.
Yeah.
I still think almost half. I think that's normal. Going back to a couple of the other GTs we've done, that there's some matchups where based on the people involved or the lists, it's pretty.
We have a number of very, very good players and a number of newer players.
Yeah, and some of them are just there's that factor too. I'd like to see us put down some stakes maybe on how this pans out. Now that we've seen the list, we made our decisions. The games aren't until next weekend, so we got time to talk about it.
Is it a question of the winner gets something or the loser has to do something?
Well, last time it was the loser had to do something, but we could definitely talk about that. It could be a winner gets something too.
I feel like the winner gets to get put inside each of our D&D campaigns as an NPC.
Ooh. That's interesting.
Like you could input their personality in and describe it and like have them give a little input, but you work them in some way and then we talk about it on the podcast.
This is technically an episode of Unplugged Radio, so that's true.
I do like that.
I like that idea.
I like it.
I do like that.
All right, so the winner gets injected into a D&D game
As an NPC.
as an NPC.
Sure.
All right.
That 28-year-old tie-dyed figure comes trotting into the van.
Where did you get these clothes?
That color pattern sent me into a berserk rage.
Do we want to make
Chris Murphy is like, why?
Do we want to make any predictions as to who we think will like a couple favorites for winners?
So there's a couple of things that I think are worth predicting. It's probably the best overall people, and then maybe the complete hobbyist. Now that you've seen the lists, we know a lot of the people involved. Yeah,
I think it's tough not to pick Josh Rosado for complete hobbyist. He's got such a nice looking army. He's a very, very good player, and he's such a nice guy too. He hits all those bases.
I think a couple of the other people that contend with him for best painted in terms of skill for painting aren't bringing their best looking armies.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives Josh a huge advantage there. For instance, like if Greg had his Forces of Nature army done,
or even was using his
rubbing that in,
really? I'm just saying his Night Stalkers are a perfectly good army, and they're very tabletop. They're better than tabletop, but they're not like
they're not my best.
They're not your best.
No.
Yeah, they're not your best.
For best overall.
Not.
Right, right. If your Forces of Nature army was done, you would be in contention for that.
I'll get back to you in 5 years. That's my prediction tonight. 5 years from now, I'm winning complete obvious.
Wait. Kyle will be here though. Kyle's army is beautiful, and he won the Unplugged GT 2 years ago.
Yes, he did.
But I don't think his list is super strong this time.
He was using Ratkin when he won it.
He's using Ratkin now.
Yeah, but the meta has changed. Things have changed a little, but he still could do very well.
I like Kyle's list.
The only thing that could hold Josh back from getting complete hobbyist is if he gets he takes 3 losses.
Right.
And he's gonna get a goose egg round 1, unfortunately.
That's how it works.
Has Peyton done any?
That's right.
Peyton, Peyton's one that you can never count out for that complete hobbyist overall. True. Because he's such a good player. He's a fun guy to play against, and his army is always going to be top 5 in the room.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's done any work on the army since last year.
Well, that's what the halfling units are. Those are anything in there that's actually a halfling is something that he's painted.
Right.
Okay.
So in terms of the highest battle score, I think it comes down to you got to go with the master.
Yeah, Alex is Corey. Great.
Corey or Alex.
I like Mike Austin.
I was going to say Mike Austin.
I do too.
I like
Mike's list is really good.
Yep.
Corey, obviously, Corey Reynolds has a very good list. Alex, I think because Alex is playing an army that he took a list that he wants to use and he has been playing with it some, but it's more of a lark. But it's more of a lark for him, right? Like he's not taking a list that he necessarily
not in his comfort zone,
right?
Yeah.
He hasn't fine-tuned it.
Yeah, but you just said he took first at Vanguard.
He did, but Vanguard had only 20 people. So it's a very different style room. There aren't as many people there that were Masters players or very top end players. There's a couple of really good, really tough opponents there that he did beat, and I don't think he is going to do badly, but I don't see him being a favorite here. This is a bigger room. It's a different meta. It's different players.
So who's your favorite?
There's plenty of players here that are no joke. It's a fairly I think there's a
tough room.
There's a really big spread
Yes.
here amongst a small group of players. So there's a lot of really good players, and then there's a lot of really new players, and there's not that many in the middle this time.
I think top battle is either Corey or Mike. Those would be my with Alex very close behind. I see Alex losing one game, and I think the person who's going to scoop it is going to go undefeated.
Corey Walliser and Mike Rossi. I agree with you. That's good.
I tell you what, with all the dwarf players, nobody picked dwarf for coming top of battle. My other good prediction, solid prediction, I think I'm going to take down best Night Stalkers.
Going out of the
race
limb.
award.
You know, we used to
came
do
off a
best in
big
race awards.
best in race Night Stalkers win at Masters.
It's true.
That's true.
You're the best Night Stalker player in the country.
Yeah, I am. So much so that people have to copy me with allies.
Right.
I used to love doing best in race awards, but when there were less factions and more players, it made a lot more sense.
Yep.
Yeah, more players.
You could potentially do best in alignment to bring back that as a soft thing. You know, good, neutral, evil.
Yeah, we're already
Not
doing
this year, obviously, but you know.
we're doing a club grudge score, so there's
Which I
already
think is cool.
an extra thing I have to keep track of.
Yeah, no. I'm not adding more to your plate, man. But I'm saying, you know, if you were like, I want to bring that back, that's the way to do it, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Anybody who you think is going to catch people out, who you think their list is particularly good, or they haven't built up that reputation, but they're going to like catch people out.
Jeremy Filner.
I was just saying that. That's exactly it.
I think people are going to look at the great cons list and just go, "What the fuck?"
It's the only real. I mean, Jeremy's list is a spam list, but in a different style.
Right.
Cons list is the classic, goblin shooting spam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to catch them.
And we haven't
We're
seen
not
that
used
up
to
in
playing
this,
that in the
this
Northeast.
meta
Right.
as much, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely loses. Like, it's not unbeatable, but
No,
there's some things that just really, really struggle to deal with that.
Right.
So,
People will see it and be like, "I don't even know what to do."
right.
I know what to do. You run that way as fast as you can.
You sit.
Right?
You sit. Well, the other thing is that we'll see how things go this year, but our tables tend to be pretty terrain dense.
Right.
Thus, the lichens and the chimera for me.
Damn right.
He's learning.
He was thinking.
What's your guys' favorite list? Is it all Jeremy Filner for you? Other than your own. You can't pick your own,
I'd never pick my own.
obviously.
Favorite list.
Like if you had to like swap or something.
Yeah.
Who would
I
you?
really like Alex's Abyssal list. I would paint.
Yeah, I do
I would
too.
paint that up. I would paint that
Actually,
up and
I-
use it. That's got some. It does work in all phases.
I like Tim
Right.
O'Brien's list.
I do too.
Yeah.
Actually,
I like
Kevin Spears' list.
Kevin's is fun. Yeah.
I like it.
I like Corey's list because no inspiring. It's just ballsy.
Oh, it is
I just
funny.
watch him say, he's like, yeah, I did that. Nobody
When every
does
warrior-
that.
So
Right?
so
You
this is
brought
going
it
to be
Masters.
interesting.
I would put money that Corey was the only player at Masters who didn't have a
was.
single piece of inspiring, except for me, because I don't have any inspiring.
Yeah.
So again, people are
Right.
trying to copy my style.
I think an interesting match will be Corey versus the Great Khan, because with no inspiring
Versus all the
one
shooting.
time,
Yeah, I played that at Masters. I played that match. It did not go well for me, actually.
it's not gonna.
yeah, that's a tough one
Not
for
gonna.
you. Cool.
All
Well,
right.
gentlemen, I think that's a wrap.
A lot
So
of fun.
thanks for joining us for this special episode of Unplugged Radio and the prep episode of the Unplugged GT. We hope there's a couple of people who are not coming that are watching tonight, actually, but most of you will see there next weekends.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, any
See you
closing
guys next
comments
weekend. Can't wait.
before we
See ya,
head
buddies.
off?
I'm excited.
Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
All right, everyone. Thanks
Good
for
crowd.
tuning
You guys
in.
are good.
Thanks,
We'll see you
John.
next weekend.
Later, buddies.
Later.